a moment, talk amongst yourselves.
That's true, yeah.
We are actually live streaming tonight, or will be shortly on Wairarapa TV and on Facebook.
I'm waiting.
Thumbs up from Toby, mate.
Okay, let's get underway. So welcome along to the 2021-2022 Wairarapa Times-Age Sports Awards. Tonight we are hosting our awards evening at the Carterton Event Centre and live streaming on Wairarapa TV. We are celebrating Wairarapa's top sports people for their achievements that covered the period of recognition from 1st of April 2021 to 31st of March 2022. We will also recognise the huge contributions made by sports administrators, clubs and volunteers. This is the first event we've been able to host with our finalists and attendees since our 2019 awards evening that took place in June 2019. The Wairarapa Times-Age is thrilled to be hosting everyone tonight and congratulate all our finalists. And BG, I think it's time to acknowledge too that the finalists we've got tonight, there are also a lot of sports people who actually perform very well on the international and national stage who are Wairarapa born and bred and hold Wairarapa very closely to their hearts, but they don't qualify for these awards. So just go through some of them. Marcus Daniel, of course, a bronze medal at the Olympics in tennis, our first bronze medal ever as a country, but the first bronze medalist in tennis since the great Anthony Wilding in 1912. Ross Taylor, we all know about Roscoe and his magnificent achievements on the cricket field, hitting the winning runs in the World Test Championship. Megan Hull, the co-captain of the Women's Black Sticks now, and of course she competed at the Tokyo Olympics, making the quarterfinals there. Ben Campbell, who is qualified for the British Golf Open next month. We've got Ollie Donaldson, who's currently away with the which I didn't even know was a sport until a few months ago, the Beach Handball World Championships in Crete, in Greece. And the other one, of course, is Rocco Berry, who's, I don't think he'd want to admit it at the moment, the way they're playing, but he's a member of the New Zealand Warriors. And hey, if you want to know how popular these are, BG, we received 16,567 votes for the public, from the public for the public side of the voting for these awards. So a big round of applause for that, please, because that's an outstanding achievement.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight there are 15 award categories which reflect the scope of sports achievements and the contributions that have been made. A combination of that public vote and judges' vote determined the category winners. An independent judging panel of 3 judges were appointed. Each judge votes include a quarter of the total vote, and the public vote counted towards a quarter as well. Category winners automatically become finalists for the Supreme Award of the Year.
There's also a Lifetime Achievement Award and a People's Choice Award that will be announced later tonight.
Before we begin, I'd like to welcome up Andrew Denholm, publisher of the mighty Wairarapa Times-Age.
Thanks, BG. Thanks, Coggy. Well, you know, they've stolen a lot of my speech, actually, but thank you so much for coming along. It's just great to have a crowd here. I stood up here last year in front of a TV camera and it was awful. As BG said, my name is Andrew Denholm. I'm the publisher of the Wairarapa Times-Age, and on behalf of the team, I'd like to welcome you to the Wairarapa Times-Age Sports Awards. As Coggy said, these have been a long term in the making. We had it in lockdown 2 years ago. We're in the orange traffic light system last year, so to have a crowd here tonight, thank you so much for coming along. I want to thank and welcome some special guests. First and foremost, 2-time Olympic champion, 5-time world champion. How good does that sound? Mahi Drysdale. Thank you so much, Mahi. We had Mahi all teed up for last year's event, and at the last minute we had to pull the pin, and oh my God, I was gutted. Athletes of Mahi's calibre don't grow on trees, and he's as big as a tree, and they don't exactly queue up for sports events like this, so I'm really happy that he's here. I spoke to Mahi a few times over the last 6 or 7 months. To start with, when I had to cancel him for last year, he was like, good as gold, I'll come back next year. And every conversation I've had with him, he's been incredibly accommodating. I said to him on one occasion, look, can you bring some medals down because some kids might want to have a look at them? And look, there's 3 medals there. There's an Olympic gold medal there. How cool is that? So for all you kids, go and feel it. It's awesome. I guess everyone knows Mahi from watching him on TV, and you can Google his accomplishments. I watched the Rio Olympic final in the weekend on YouTube, and I've watched it half a dozen times, and every time it's bloody nerve-wracking. But the thing that really stands out about Mahi to me is, believe it or not, the Tokyo Olympics. So if we can cast our mind back to the Tokyo Olympics, it's only 11 months ago. Those Olympics, they were shrouded in a lot of controversy. It was in the height of the pandemic. The people of Japan didn't want it. They had placards saying no to the Olympics. And when they finally announced that the Olympics were going to go ahead, they announced that there was going to be no spectators. And I thought, oh my God, Olympics without a crowd, this is going to be awful to watch. And yet I found myself watching so much of the Olympics. And when it came to the rowing, it didn't matter if I watched men's, women's, heats, repechauges or finals. I don't think I watched one race where the commentator didn't mention or make reference to Mahi Drysdale. He wasn't even there. He'd retired. And it really sunk into me what impact Mahi has not only made on New Zealand rowing, but on the world rowing stage. So I'm super stoked. You'll probably see me looking down just to make sure he hasn't done a runner or anything. I'm really excited and looking forward to your speech later in the night, Mahi. To the mayors, to Greg, this is a magnificent civic centre. That was sort of a joke because it was my segue into saying that Lynn Patterson has sent her apologies. She can't make it tonight, but Deputy Mayor Graham McClymont is here. There'll be no more civic centre jokes. I don't want a alopecia moment on stage. Alex Bain, the South Wairarapa Mayor, has been invited. I can't see him. No hand's gone up. Okay. Kieran McAnulty, our local MP, was due to be here up until about 2 hours ago, but he's sent his apologies. He's gutted, but some ministerial duties have come up, so that's a bit of a shame. Bob and Mary Francis, always good to see you. The Wairarapa Sports Education Trust are also here tonight. They're going to announce some cash scholarships. They're also going to announce a pretty cool initiative that's going to happen later in the year, so watch out for that announcement. To the sponsors, it's about now in my speech I always thank the sponsors, but I really do want to make a big shout out to them this year. We are living in tricky times. There's a crisis with food, a cost of living crisis, fuel. Everything's going up. This rampant inflation, they're trying to curb it back with interest rates. And look, it feels as though if there's not a recession next week, it's the following week. And it's hard running a business. And yet we've got these sponsors here that have gone out of their way with time and money. So, when times are tough, you stop spending money. But these businesses have gone out of their way to help us run this night, and I can tell you now, without their tremendous support, we simply couldn't run this event. Alongside the sponsors, there's some businesses in the background that have helped us out tremendously. I just want to mention a couple, the Discovery Motor Lodge in Masterton. That doesn't mean that Mahi's staying there tonight. And Fresh Choice in Greytown. And lastly, I want to congratulate all of the finalists. You've got your name and your little photo in the program, and you might be feeling nervous or anxious or I don't know. I don't know how you feel because I've never been good enough to be a finalist at an event like this. I haven't worn your shoes, but someone that has worn your shoes is Mahi Drysdale. He's been at events like this. You know, it might be the Hellberg Awards, or it might be an event similar to this. But, you know, you're an esteemed company being a finalist. I think you should all be really proud of yourself. We'll run the results in tomorrow's paper, and there will be a double-page spread in the Saturday Times-Age. But for now, I hope you sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. The important thing, there's a cash bar available in the foyer for refreshments. A buffet dinner will be served after the first set of award presentations, and there will be a brief refreshment break after the second set of award presentations. On each table, there are programs. You've probably seen those. Have a look through them because it's got a brief profile of each of the finalists. Each category will be announced. The category sponsor will then be invited up onto the stage to say a few words. The category finalists will be announced. When you hear your name, please come up to the stage and collect your finalist certificate, then move to the right of the stage, and then the winner will be announced by the category sponsor.
Coggy and I will provide a short profile on the winner, then they are presented by their award category sponsor. The winner has an opportunity to say a few words as well. The winner and the sponsor then exit the stage and head down to the side of the stage for a photo opportunity.
All category winners will receive a trophy along with a cash or voucher contribution kindly provided by each of the sponsors. We would like to thank Trust House, who continue to support many sports teams and facilities throughout the region. They have generously given a gift voucher to each of the category winners this evening. The awards would not be possible without the support from each of our sponsors. We value their commitment to recognising sporting excellence in our region. We will now start off with our first section of award presentations.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first award tonight is the Property Brokers Primary School of the Year, an award recognising primary, intermediate schools for overall sporting excellence and participation. I'd like to welcome up John Arends, Wairarapa Manager for Property Brokers.
And our finalists are Carterton School. Fernridge School. Masterton Intermediate School. And Solway Primary School. So if all the finalists could come up on stage, please. I'll now ask John to say a few words.
Yeah, well, Property Brokers are privileged to support the primary intermediate school category, these awards. I'd also like to acknowledge the good work that goes on at this level to encourage, the participation, mainly for the teachers, but also, the volunteers, mums and dads that follow them around, Board of Trustees that allow the funding and direction for these activities, as well as the children themselves that give it a go. So all the best of luck for the winner. The winner is Fernridge School.
Fernridge School has a wonderful, supportive community with staff, parents and siblings, ex-pupils and even grandparents putting their hands up to coach the many teams Fernridge has on offer for a smaller school. They competed in ripper rugby, T-ball, softball, touch, netball, mini-ball and hockey. Fernridge Sports Coordinator Nathan Robinson is passionate about sport and providing opportunities for all pupils. Fernridge has a high percentage of pupils who play organised sport and participate in inter-school events, always giving 100% on the field, turf and court. Congratulations, Fernridge School.
Do you want to say a few words, guys? Come on. Don't be shy.
Ko alo tuku ingoa. I just want to say a big thank you to the supporter, property brokers, and also a big thank you to our principal, Miss D. She always lets us do any sport we want.
Hi, my name is Harper, and we would just like to say a big thank you to Nathan Robinson, our school sport coordinator, and well done to the other finalists, and good luck to all the other people. Happy Matariki from Fernridge School.
Congratulations. Well done, guys. Head on out and we'll get some beautiful photos of you. Well done.
Our next award is the Wairarapa Hunting and Fishing College of the Year, an award recognising secondary schools for overall sporting excellence and participation. And I'd like to welcome Aaron Middleton, the co-owner of Wairarapa Hunting and Fishing, onto the stage.
Evening, everyone. It's awesome to be actually able to attend the Sports Awards this year. And once again, Greg and myself and the team at Wairarapa Hunting and Fishing are proud to sponsor the award for College of the Year. We believe it's so important for our young people to have a platform from which they can enjoy their chosen sport and outdoor activities. And we wish to extend a massive congratulations to all the nominees tonight. We feel a special mention should also be made for all the teachers, parents, referees, volunteers, and anyone else who week in, week out make it possible for sport to go ahead. Thanks very much, and I hope you all will have a great evening.
And the finalists are Chanel College, Rathkeil College, St Matthew's Collegiate, and Wairarapa College. All right. All the finalists want to come up to the stage? That'd be great. Coggy, one thing I noted too, this week where we're having these awards, it's volunteer week, right? And you think of how many parents, how many coaches, teachers, everyone, I think we worked it out one day, how many people are involved in sport in the region. It was some ridiculous number.
Especially at secondary school and primary school level, the involvement from parents, you say, even siblings, older siblings and so on is fantastic.
Rightio, and on to the winner now.
The winner is Wairarapa College.
Wherever you like, Aaron.
Kia ora, everyone. Thank you to the sponsors, Hunting and Fishing, and really just a chance to acknowledge and thank all of our staff, students, and in particular community support that we have. Same with every school that's up here. Sport's incredibly important to our young people, The last few years, as we've mentioned already, have been really, really challenging and difficult, and sport is an opportunity to sort of get back into normality and get stuck in and involved. And as a school in the last 12 months, we've been really successful in some team sports, as we'll see hopefully a little bit later on, and also some individuals here. And it's just fantastic looking through the program there at the number of students and ex-students and seeing them all here tonight. So again, sponsors and the other schools, thank you very much, and really appreciate everyone getting involved with sport. Thank you.
Well said. Thanks, team.
Okay, Wairarapa College, they tasted success at regional and national level in several sports over the year. Waikole won the school's first Wairarapa Premier 1 netball title in 16 years, holding on to beat Celtic by 1 goal in the final. The girls' hockey first 11 won the Manawatu Inter-City Championship, beating old foes St Matthews 5-0 in the final. Amy Bunny was named in the New Zealand Under-18 Hockey Development Squad. In athletics, Mia Bartlett won the National Under-18 Javelin title, while Josh Taylor won several championships in para events.
Brilliant stuff. Our next award category tonight is the Osborne Group Junior Sports Team of the Year. Open to primary and intermediate schools that have achieved a high standard of participation in any sport. Welcome Jason Osborne, Managing Director, Osborne Group.
First of all, I'd just like to thank Andrew and the team from the Wairarapa Times-Age for organising tonight's event. Obviously, as has been mentioned, the last couple of years have been a bit of a struggle. But once again, they've done an outstanding effort to put together this for the community. At Osborne Group, we're quite happy to be the sponsors of the Junior Sports Team of the Year, partly because half of them might be shorter than me. So, half of them. We see promotion of our up-and-coming sports stars as a vital role in the community, so we congratulate not only the outstanding finalists nominated for this award, but all the members of the community that help out either as a participant, a coach, a teacher, a supportive parent or a friend. Being a finalist in this category clearly demonstrates that the players are outstanding participants and achievers in sport. Wairarapa prides itself in its sporting pedigree, so to be nominated for this award was an achievement in itself. These young people are our future. Let them show the way. And so on behalf of the team at Osborne Group, we hope they continue to strive for success in their chosen field.
Okay, and the finalists in Junior Sports Team of the Year, Douglas Villa Under-13 Mini Beans football team. The Masterton Intermediate Aces netball team. Masterton Intermediate Girls volleyball team. And Pioneer Under-13 rugby team. If all those finalists could please come up on stage. I'll now ask Jason to announce the winner.
And the winner of the Junior Sports Team of the Year is the Douglas Villa Under-13 Mini Beans football team.
The Douglas Villa Mini Beans overcame the regular travel over the Rimataka Hill to dominate the strong Capital Football 13th grade Junior Premier League. The Mini Beans won all of their 17 games in the JPL, scoring a mammoth 87 goals and conceding only 14. They were on target to play in the top four, when the season was curtailed with the onset of COVID-19 alert level 4 restrictions in August.
I'd just like to say thank you, Wairarapa Times-Age, for organising this event, Osborne Group for sponsoring it. As a coach, I try to give the kids guidance and direction and let them do the rest, and they did. It was a hell of a season. A lot of the other coaches commented on the good team spirit that we had, and just the kids all seemed to get along together, and it was a great team effort. All 14 of them really stood up throughout the season, so I look forward to seeing them going through the rest of their football careers and see where they end up.
Our next category is the Cycling Tom Bike Shop Youth Sports Team of the Year, open to secondary school teams that have achieved a high standard of participation in any sport. And I'd like to welcome Bruce McCullum from Cycling Tom Bike Shop up on stage, please.
As we announce the finalists, please make your way to the stage. And the finalists in the Cycling Tom Bike Shop Youth Sports Team of the Year are Rathkill College Claybird Shooting Team, Rathkill College Cross Country Team, Wairarapa College A Netball Team, and Wairarapa College First 11 Hockey Team. And I'll now ask Bruce to announce the winner.
Thanks very much for this opportunity. I'm standing in for Cycling Tom, who just happens to be my grandson, Tom McCallum. Tom has had a YouTube channel for about 6 years from the time he was at Rathkill College under a cycling scholarship. Tom's actually racing criterium in the United States at the moment and apologises for not being here. He would love to have been here. One observation I'd simply make from my heart is that all of you young sports people, those on stage and those out there now, there are no losers tonight, you're all winners, and you should take pride in what you've achieved just to get here tonight. So it's my pleasure to announce the winner, and the winner is Wairarapa College A Netball Team.
Wairarapa College held their nerve to beat Celtic 53-52 and win their first Netball Wairarapa Premier 1 Championship in 16 years. In a thrilling encounter at the Trust House Wairarapa Netball Centre, Waikato came from 8 goals down early in the second quarter to take a 38-37 advantage into the final 15-minute period. The students extended their lead to 4 goals midway through the fourth quarter, only for Celtic to draw their way back to 1 goal, but Waikato kept their cool and slotted their goals to cap an outstanding victory.
Hi everyone. I just want to thank you, everyone who helped organise this event. Last year was a pretty awesome season for us girls. First one for Waikato in Prem 1 for 16 years. I think that's something pretty awesome for a bunch of young college girls with a variety of ages from 13 to 18, playing against some very physical and mentally tough women. So I just hope this is something that all of the oncoming college girls can look up to do, because it's such an awesome experience winning something like this. So thanks everyone.
Brilliant, well done. I watched that game, Coggy. That was one of those games that we had to broadcast on YouTube or by Wairarapa TV because we couldn't have a crowd.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was rung up about the day before, can you commentate it?
Goody Lord.
Yeah, it was all fun.
I'm glad you were busy
My knowledge
there.
of netball. Hey, just a note here, there's a red Subaru parked on yellow lines blocking a driveway across the road. The registration, you can stand up and walk out, we won't embarrass you, ESZ161. ESZ161, and it's a red Subaru parked on yellow lines. So please go and do something about it before someone tows it away.
On to our next category tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Composting New Zealand Senior Sports Team of the Year. Open to senior teams, that's awkward, that have achieved a high standard in participation in any sport. Welcome Andrew Reid, Chief Executive, Composting New Zealand.
Yeah, sure. On behalf of Compost New Zealand, thanks very much for the opportunity to be here tonight. We're very proud to be able to get behind our community, get behind our sports people. The dedication that's required these days through not only COVID, but to be great in any sport. It doesn't just arrive on the Saturday or the Sunday. It's the work that you don't see behind the scenes. We provide a lot to the community and sports teams. We want to see our community strong, working together, and just actually having that well-being back before what we had in COVID. So on behalf of Compost New Zealand, well done to all that are here today. Everyone that's a finalist, as was said before, are winners. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of achievement to get to that point. So thanks very much and enjoy your night.
Okay, the finalists in the Composting New Zealand Senior Sports Team of the Year, and if you can please come up as your name is called, Dalefield Premier Women's Hockey Team. Douglas Villa Magpies Football Team. The Greytown Premier Rugby Team. And Wairarapa Koru's Cricket Team. I'll now ask Andrew to announce the winner.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, grab the bottom. Okay, Compost New Zealand Senior Sports Team of the Year Award goes to Darfield Premier.
Darfield won their second consecutive Women Premier Championship in a tense final with Harbour City. For the second year in a row, they went into the final to the shootout, and the scores were locked at 1-1 at full time. Goalkeeper Amy Rossiter-Steed stepped up and saved all of the opposition's shootout attempts, repeating her effort from the previous year's final. While Rossiter-Steed thwarted all of Harbour City's attempts, firstly Bridget Mossman and then Felicity Reedy, and finally Maddie Taylor converted their chances to seal the championship victory.
Thank you. I'd just also like to thank the Wairarapa Times-Age for putting on this event once again. And yeah, it's just so good to have so many sports teams recognised. And to my girls, well, it's actually 4 out of 6 that we've won. So we're pretty proud of that achievement. And this year we don't know how that's going to turn out, but top 4's the goal. We don't think like we're anything special, but we do have a lot of special girls in our team, and we have a really good culture. And I think what we do is, you know, we're not just raising good hockey players, we're raising good people, and that all contributes to our community. And it's something we all love and we all enjoy doing. So we're very proud of this achievement, and we'd like to thank one of our major sponsors, Trust House, also One Foundation, Lion Foundation. We have lots of individual sponsors who just help our girls along the way, because if everyone knew how much it costs to play hockey and had to pay that much, no one would play. So we're very grateful, and thank you very much.
Just to clarify, didn't you just beat Harbour City last weekend?
Sorry, what was that?
Pretty sure they beat Harbour City last weekend.
Beat Harbour City last weekend. 2-1, pretty impressive.
Fantastic.
They're a modest bunch of young ladies. Excellent team. Okay, GJ Gardner Holmes Wairarapa Sports Club of the Year. This award recognises the progress made by clubs in promoting their sports both on and off the field. I'd like to welcome Matt Timperley, the construction manager for GJ Gardner Holmes Wairarapa.
All right, when you hear your name, come on up to the stage. And the finalists are Douglas Villa Football Club, Giants Softball Club, Greytown Rugby Club, Opaki Tennis Club. We're not sure whether or not they're here tonight. They're usually a fairly quiet bunch. Fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Say a few words.
Thank you. Evening, everyone. On behalf of Paul and Trevor, who actually own the franchise, I get the auspicious occasion to be here tonight and enjoy this with everyone. It's pretty exciting to see a room full of people for the first time in a number of years. I think, as we all know, living in the provinces, that our sports clubs are the backbone of our community. It starts at school level with the kids, but invariably the way the Wairarapa works, we end up with kids playing for clubs right the way through to their adult games and things, and I think it's really important to recognise the effort that not only these fine people here have gone to bring our community together over these last couple of years, but also the work that all the other clubs do as well. So yeah, just like to thank them very much. And the winner, Greytown Rugby Club.
Good evening, everyone. Kia ora. Just on behalf of the Greytown Rugby Club, thanks to the Wairarapa Times-Age for putting on the night. It's a special night, such a good crowd. And thanks to the sponsor, GJ Gardner. This is an awesome award to win for our club. I'd like to thank the committee so much. It's a diverse committee. They do a lot of hard work. As a coach, we can just turn up and everything else is done. The grounds are in superb order. So thank you guys for this, the work you do with JAB and getting our senior teams on the field. And yeah, it is an amazing committee. So to Andy, Jenna and the team, this award's for you guys. Well done. Cheers.
Okay, better cover off what they did, didn't I? The Greytown Premier side completed an unbeaten season in the Wairarapa Push Premier grade. The team won all 12 games and claiming the Chris Moose Carpenny Memorial Cup for the Premier Championship and the inaugural Lane Penn Trophy for the Town and Country Series. Under astute administration, the club continues to flourish and plays an integral role in the Greytown community.
Absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, what a night so far and what a list of achievements, what a list of nominations. It's absolutely fantastic. Right, now it's time for dinner. So what will happen from here is you'll be called by a team member from the Wairarapa Times-Age by table up for the buffet dinner. Sit there, enjoy, soak up the atmosphere, catch up with people, and we'll be back a little bit later on for the second half of the evening. Kia ora.
David and Christine have been making music together for nearly 30 years.
We lived next door to each other in Upper Hutt, and he lived in one flat and I lived in the other.
Astrologers claim both romantic and professional destinies are written in the stars. That's why Kōporanga couple Christine Loveday and David Christopher have named their band Virgo Sagittarius after their own signs, because they believe they're destined to be stars.
We've been together for quite a few years. I'm David.
Yeah. And you must be Sagittarius.
I am.
Gosh.
Sagittarius is I. Yeah, we've been writing songs for some time now.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's been in my blood since I was born, really. Yeah.
You wrote your first song when you were
When
about...
I was about 10.
10 years old.
I still remember it was called Under the Apple Tree. This 3-chord thing. But yeah,
So
that's where I took off. But I loved listening to music on the radio.
You still do?
Yeah. Although modern radio music is a bit different from...
Getting used to it.
Yeah, when I was young.
That's all. It's really, well, you know, every generation has to be different. So
yeah,
it's
that's
good.
right.
They're very different.
Could you imagine what it's going to be like 10 years from now?
Yeah.
David and Christine have been making music together for nearly 30 years.
We lived next door to each other in Upper Hutt, and he lived in one flat and I lived in the other, and I could quite often hear this guy playing guitar and singing softly to himself, so I made an excuse to go over and borrow something, like a cup of sugar or something, and we met that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he pulled me into music, so yeah, we've been on the journey for a while, and I don't know what I'd do without him. He's taught me everything. Yeah.
Well, not everything.
Well,
you do learn some stuff at home.
I know, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
When it comes to their musical inspirations, Virgo Sagittarius are old school.
I've always liked Eric Clapton for his blues, and yeah, he's a very good guitarist. I like some of his songs.
Yeah.
You like?
See, I'm one of these old school boys out of the late 60s, so that era was really good for me.
The Beatles, Rolling Stones.
Yeah, all those bands, there were dozens of them.
Yeah. Good
They all
songwriting.
influenced me. Even Andrew Lloyd Webber, love his stuff. Elton John, you know, you can't go wrong. Deep Purple, yeah.
We could go on and on and on.
On and on and on.
The couple say there isn't much original music being produced out of the Wairarapa.
Most people do covers here. Yeah. We've tried to set up various organisations to promote original music here, but it doesn't really take off, so I don't know why.
Wairarapa musicians have been performing in the Times-Age Tiny Desk style concert series as part of New Zealand Music Month's opportunity for musos to level up.
We do a lot of cover versions for exercise and musical exercises.
Christine looks disapproving because I'd rather spend my time doing originals, but...
Having both studied music over the years, Virgo Sagittarius have some advice for up-and-comers.
Play as often as you can on your instrument. Get really, really knowledgeable on your instrument so that you can flow and it becomes part of you. And write your own material. The covers are great for learning and seeing structures of other songs and how they go. But originality in the end is what a musician wants to be. Yeah, original.
And it does pay to actually study music. We've done a lot of study with Berkeley School of Music.
Yeah.
And we did a course with Jamie Abersol doing jazz. He's American. We attended seminars with Jason Bloom. And he's a Nashville songwriter.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff from those guys. There are, as they say, no rules, only tools.
The couple say they'd like to see more music venues in the region.
In these times it's quite hard with the COVID going on and stuff, but you can always play at home. You know, you don't need to go to a venue. Just get out your guitar or your keyboard or whatever you're playing and have a play. Yeah. Music lifts the spirits. It can make you feel really good. Yeah. Whenever I feel a bit down, I just get out my guitar and instantly I'll feel better. Endorphins, I think they call them. Yeah.
Here's Virgo Sagittarius performing two of their songs, recorded live by Local Focus.
Hello, we're Virgo Sagittarius. I'm Christine and this is David. And we're here for New Zealand Music Month to play you a couple of tunes that we've written. Hope you enjoy them. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
3, 4. Life is a spinning wheel. Go for the ride. There are lots of places to go to. Bells will chime. Destiny waits behind closed doors. Open the door and let fate in. Open the door and step right on in. Living is a merry-go-round. Enjoy the ride. There are lots of places to visit. Enjoy the time. Destiny waits behind closed doors. Open the door and let fate in. Open the door and step right on in.
Thank you. That was Open the Door. Here's our latest song. We've been practicing it. We started writing this song around the beginning of May. We took a few rewrites from the words, and the music was always there, but words are always the most difficult. So here it is.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lost its soul. The world has lost its soul. The world is getting better. Say goodbye.
By day, Steve Rendell is Masterton District Council spokesperson.
St Townsville, I don't know, people will probably have heard of him, but he is an astonishing guitar player, and that opened my eyes as to what you could do with a guitar, and that was relatively recently. So I've just tried, ditching the pick and playing with my fingers since then, and I love it. And of ongoing passions in my life, that's the thing that's lasted since I was young to now, and it's an old geezer playing music, original songs. It's such a lot of fun. You put yourself out there, you're a bit vulnerable, but on the other hand, you're completely bulletproof because no one can tell you that you're playing your own song wrong. And I think it's incredibly freeing.
As part of New Zealand Music Month, Steve performed a couple of his songs. It was part of the Wairarapa Times-Age Tiny Desk Style series, showcasing artists in, you guessed it, The Office. Steve's first gig was in a band with friends called Goats in Russian, where things got pretty rowdy.
Back in Oamaru, we've decided we'd form a band. I bought a guitar, couldn't play, an expensive guitar and couldn't play. I think we had a party as a band and the police turned up and threatened to take our instruments, but it's Oamaru, all the cops, everyone knows everyone. It was a lot of fun. It is a fantastic thrill when you look up and you see people listening. It doesn't happen that often. It's not what drives me. I just, play my guitar every night. My wife will attest to that. I think it's just an outlet which is, unfettered. It's a freedom from everything. So yeah, love it.
This New Zealand Music Month, local musicians are getting the opportunity to level up. Fellow musician and Times-Age chief reporter Tom Taylor pulls the events together as well as recording and mixing sound for the region's up-and-coming artists. What would your message be to aspiring musicians in the Wairarapa?
There are a lot of musicians in the Wairarapa far more capable than me, and I'm in no position to tell anyone anything, but if you just keep playing. I spend most of my time playing in public is at open mic stuff. The one in Connacht, very laid back, lovely guys, and a really supportive environment. If you are playing in places where people are telling you you're rubbish, don't play there, play somewhere else, because there's no such thing. It's just get out there and do it.
Wairarapa musicians typically have to drive over the remotakas to Wellington to showcase their musical talents. Steve has high hopes for a live music venue closer to home.
I think a venue would be great, and I arrived in the Wairarapa after King Street Live closed. It would be great to have a sort of mid-sized venue where touring acts could come along, and I think that's a sort of nice driver for people who, not everyone can travel over the hill and go to a big gig over there, but, if there were regular outlets for local musicians and touring people, then it puts it out there as an opportunity and something to build towards.
And for this show, Steve really threw caution to the wind, even taking off his glasses, which never usually leave his face.
I'd just like to say that you encouraged me to take my glasses off, and it wasn't an attempt at looking cool because I know I'm well beyond that.
Here's Steve performing two of his tracks, recorded live by Local Focus.
Kia ora, ko Steve Rendell ho, ko top dresser tēnei. I'm really happy to be able to play a couple of songs for New Zealand Music Week. The last time I saw her, she was driving down the Castle Point Road, away from you, headed for Wainuiru. She'd been talking to the man who manages the volunteer fire brigade. He was ideally placed to pour cold water on the plans she'd made. I can't tell you much about the nature of their relationship, or if a fire burnt between them. If it did, you think he just let it burn for once, but actually people do what comes naturally. I fell in with a loud crowd who drove their cars to a standstill. What I mean by that is they drove their cars and they stood still, hands in their pockets, staring under bonnets. I'd like to shave a few thou off their heads. If I'm honest, they got means an opportunity to leave the community, but they
getaway stalls at the takeaway. Obviously, people do what comes naturally. He was parked up in a house truck outside of Riversdale. Sand blowing through the only window that opened. A little reorientation might have improved the situation, but you could say that about a lot of things. You shot a chip shop couple will have his back when it comes to the crunch. But you can only trust a metaphor like that so much when you've woken the baby one too many times with rock and roll stuff. People do what comes naturally. People do what comes naturally. People do what comes naturally.
Can I get to do another song? This one's called The Circus of Life, and it's based on a road sign I saw down south somewhere, Carterton, Greytown, which was advertising a circus. A delight for all ages was promised, and so here we go. The circus of life is in town. Delight for all ages if you gather round the toothless tigers and the serious clown. And the big tops are the past tense now. The bearded lady and the seven dwarfs, the silent giant, the miniature horse. You got a sneaky peek at the conjoined twins. And the monkey boy nobody really believes in. Life would be easy as a strong man. Life would be simple if I caught you every time. Life would be straightforward if I was more flexible. Life would be a blast as a cannonball. Well, the life thrower knows he can never miss. His beautiful assistant appreciates this, but when the gloom descends to the dark beneath, she thinks about catching bullets with her teeth. And the tattooed man from head to toe carries a secret you'll never know, in a tiny spot in the small of his back. They ran out of red, so they wrote it in black. Life would be easy as a strong man. Life would be simple if I caught you every time. Life would be straightforward if I was more flexible. Life would be a blast as a cannonball. Well, the lion tamer's work is done. The lions are tame if you want one. Seesaw, I saw, do, re, you. An elephant's foot in an elephant's shoe. And the fortune teller is overdue, but when it comes to the future, tomorrow will do. She can touch your hand with the cards she reads. But one look in your eye is all she needs. Life would be easy as a strong man. Life would be simple if I caught you every time. Life would be straightforward if I was more flexible. Life would be a blast as a cannonball.
contemplates the Newtonian physics of the spinning plates and the geometry of the rings. And the maths behind the aging on things. Life would be easy as a strong man. Life would be simple if I caught you every time. Life would be straightforward if I was more flexible. Life would be a blast as a cannonball. As a cannonball. As a cannonball.
Didn't you know? Folk music never died. Well, for Masterton musician Colette Rivers, it certainly hasn't. And while she's been creating music from a very early age, indie folk wasn't always her thing.
My preschool was called the Children's World of Music, and so it's been just something that we've always done in my family, you know, and so it's growing up playing it all the time. And then I probably started writing music when I was about 15 or 16, you know, looking to express myself and stuff like that. And I started producing when I was living in London, and I was actually producing drum and bass music initially. And it wasn't really going with the guitar playing and the songs and the music that I was more into. So I kind of changed tack and have basically been doing that ever since.
Colette's musical kete is full to the brim with a variety of instrumental talents.
I play guitar, piano, electric guitar obviously, mandolin. So there's some mandolin and there's some banjo. Yeah, so a few different instruments because I'm producing music, obviously, and I do that here in my own home studio. And so I'll hear something, you know, and it's like, I want something different in that. And so I'll play something, you know. I can play bass a bit as well, you know, so it's just a lot of stringed instruments mostly.
When it comes to the Wairarapa music scene, Colette's well connected, but there's definitely room for expansion.
I know probably a lot of the people in the scene, and because obviously it's not a huge town, and so you get to know each other. And I like the family that it is, and how everybody is quite willing to get together and do stuff like that. I would love there to be a more regular venue that we have that is open to like a wide range of genres and stuff. So I haven't really done very many gigs in the Wairarapa. Most of my gigs I tend to go down to Wellington or somewhere. So yeah, I feel like if there was if we had another venue that we were able to say like have indie music perform rather than just lounge music, that would be cool. That would be neat.
But being a musician isn't easy. There's plenty of work off stage too.
My advice for up and coming musicians would be to do it now. Because it could take you a very, very long time to actually establish yourself, and it's not just going to fall in your lap. Because I think when I first started and I was like, I've got a really good song, this is amazing, everybody will just flock to me. But the nature of the industry now is that it's really hard to get your music heard unless you're doing a lot of different things out there, gigging, touring, and yeah, it's a lot of work. So you've got to just expect it to be a lot of work behind the scenes.
Colette says her inspirations range from listening to her dad's vinyl collections of Simon and Garfunkel, Gordon Lightfoot and Bob Dylan, to her own finds, Annie DiFranco, Hole, The Pixies, They Might Be Giants and Tom Petty. But there's one band in particular that she'd love to perform with.
I would absolutely love to play with / open for Big Thief, who's my favorite band. They do a lot of really cool kind of mixture of folky stuff, then moving into more hard out music. So yeah, I'd say opening for them. Venue wouldn't really matter. It'd just be really, really cool.
And she has one plea for her Kiwi fans.
What would be really, really amazing to see, especially from people who say are even watching this video or whatever, is to actually give responses and to share the music around, because there's a huge amount of work that people do all the time. And I think for New Zealand Music Month, for May, why not celebrate them and go out of your way to share it and help the musicians of New Zealand.
And rounding out New Zealand Music Month, here's Colette Rivers performing as part of Wairarapa Times-Age Tiny Desk Style concert series. Sound mastered by reporter Tom Taylor and recorded live by Local Focus.
Hi, I'm Colette Rivers, and we're coming to you from the Wairarapa for New Zealand Music Month. And I'm just going to be playing for you a couple of my original songs. This first song that I'm going to play for you is called Sold Down the River, and it's a brand new song that isn't even out yet, and this is the first time I've played it, so here we go. Dewy, damp and dirt and leaves dance on her body, fevered, fractured, folded backwards. Little specimen to pen, making you stronger, worthy, wanted, walking above her, and she says, lie to me over and over, hiding catastrophe over my shoulder, and you sold me down the wild river, the heart of a girl to the highest bidder. Feeble, fiendish, falsify your finicky feelings, stroking, cloaking, masking the meaning only here to stay alive while hearing her leading, trusting, trying, truth is revealing, and she says, lie to me over and over, hiding catastrophe over my shoulder, and you sold her down the wild river, the heart of a girl to the highest bidder. Like a salmon on a line, you're patiently teasing, reeling, hazing, catching, releasing. Bruised and battered she is used while your heart is freezing, trusting, able, truth is revealing, and she says, lie to me over and over, hiding catastrophe over my shoulder, and you sold her down the wild river, the heart of a girl to the highest bidder. Every year or so I wanna see you so that I can let go of how you broke me into pieces, so bad, let me go. And she says, lie to me over and over, hiding catastrophe over my shoulder, and you sold her down the wild So this next song I'm going to do is about my early childhood, where because I grew up in the States till I was 10 and then moved to New Zealand, and so this one's called Washington Sun. 8-year-old me, curly ringlets, wearing spandex in neon pink and green. On a new bike, spooky dokies, clinking, clopping as the wheels are turning around. To the market, Germany in my pocket, sing to myself, and the horses in the fields, catching tadpoles in Cougar Creek and watching them grow, and the dogs are wide and waiting for their stick to be thrown. I am here, eating lemon heads and soaking in the Washington sun. Up the ladder to the treehouse in the corner of the backyard that I know. My big sister, she's in charge, she plays the mother, and when she says goes. Plastic flowers decorate the walls in here. In our world, surrounded by a sea of pines, catching tadpoles in Cougar Creek and watching them grow, and the dogs are wet and waiting for their stick to be thrown. I am here, eating lemon heads and soaking in the Washington sun. So many years ago, and half a world away, I lingered there a while, but there I couldn't stay. I can't go down dusty roads, past stairs, past no turning back, catching tadpoles in Cougar Creek and watching them grow, and the dogs are wide and waiting for their stick to be thrown. I am here, eating lemon heads and soaking in the Washington sun. Okay, this song is called Pickup Truck. Well, she took off into the haze in the hopes of better days. She waved goodbye and turned the music up and hit the road in her pickup truck. Taking aim on her new life. She's no one's woman, she's no one's wife. Got no possessions, no more career, but the sky's the limit if you don't have fear. Hey, baby, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't really go your way. Life's never easy, don't look back or you'll go crazy. Don't you take the blame, but just get in that pit and go and meet the day. And I see you and me at the road someday. Out in the black, she's not alone. We're sitting by the stars and moon, getting in touch with her higher self. She knew her anger was a cry for help. That in the morning, waking up, she drinks her coffee from a paper cup. The sun is rising and it's sinking down. She never felt so good, she wants to spin around. Hey baby, does it really matter if it doesn't really go your way? Life's never easy, don't look back or you'll go crazy. Don't you take the blame. Just get in that pickup truck and go and meet the day. And I see you and me at the road someday. Hey baby, does it really matter if it doesn't really go your way?
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. It's an absolute honour to be here tonight, and finally, this is my first event in front of a lot of people, so it's very exciting after these COVID delays and obviously what we've seen over the last few years. Obviously, I've had a pretty awesome and long career in sport. Spanning right back to 2001 when I first made the New Zealand team through to last year. So, you know, I've seen a lot of changes and you know, been through a journey of New Zealand sport over that time. And, you know, it's been an absolutely fantastic time to be involved. And I loved every year, and that's why I kept going until last year. Held on till the very end. Unfortunately, didn't quite finish with a fairy tale in Tokyo, but you know, the day I walked away from rowing was you know, the day I knew it was over, and I've certainly had no regrets looking back. So you know, it's I feel very privileged to be able to end like that, and obviously enjoy all those successes over the years. Obviously, with 21 years of competitive rowing, I could stand up here and talk for hours, but you're not here just to hear me tonight. We're here to celebrate all the finalists and all the fantastic achievements from these up-and-coming sports people in the region. And I just want to start by saying a big thank you to everyone that's in this room, to all those people supporting, all those volunteers,
all the people that enable us to perform as we do, because you are a massive part of sport and the success that we all achieve. And I certainly couldn't have got to where I got to, without those people that gave up their time to coach me, without the people that were running the club, without my parents, and a big part of my success was my gran. And, it might seem like small things throughout your career, but all those things add up. Tonight I'm going to focus a little bit on, 2 Olympic cycles, which I think one was that sort of period from 2004 to 2008, and my first Olympic medal, which was a bronze in Beijing. And then I want to talk a little bit about what happened in Beijing and how that set me up for the success later in my career. I just want to touch on my gran, because she was such a massive part of my success. And back when I started rowing and was in the New Zealand team, I just started working as an accountant in Auckland. And I had literally worked for 3 months. My mum was absolutely stoked, because finally she could stop paying for me to study and all that sort of thing. And after 3 months, I rang her up and I said, "Mum, I've just been given an opportunity to represent New Zealand in rowing." And she said, "Okay, what does that mean?" I said, "Well, I'm going to have to quit my job and move to Cambridge." And she's like, "You're not considering that, are you?" And to be fair to her, it wasn't a career at that point. It was you had to pay to go overseas, and you had to pay to train, and there was no money. And that was a massive part of my life, because my gran stepped in, and she said, "I'll give you $200 a week to support you through your rowing." Now, $200 a week does not sound like much, but living in a flat in Cambridge in 2001, that could pay for my rent, which was about $40 a week. It would pay for my food, which was about $40 a week. And then I still had money left over to be able to do anything else, fill my car with petrol. So, that was really the thing that made me survive. It meant that I didn't have to work as much throughout those first few years. I still had a part-time job and was still trying to do some accounting on the side. But it was that sort of kickstart that really got me going. And Mum did become my biggest supporter when I first made the Olympic team, and she decided that actually quitting my job and moving to Cambridge wasn't such a bad idea after all. But I think that's the great thing about parents is they'll love you whatever you do. They just might not think it's always a good idea at the time. So I guess that sort of brings me into 2004, and I was in the men's 4 in 2004. We were a young crew. We finished 5th. It was a pretty good result from an up-and-coming crew who basically the year before we'd finished 11th and only just made the Olympics. So you were making pretty good strides. But for me, I was disappointed, and I was disappointed because I'd showed up at the Olympics and I got 5th place. And I kind of thought you kind of showed up at the Olympics, you pulled this rabbit out of your hat, you had the best race of your life in the final of the Olympics, and you won an Olympic gold medal. But what I realised in 2004 was that was not the case. And we had the Eva Swindells, who were Olympic champions, and we'd seen them training every day. They were always, we have these prognostic times which measure you against your world record time. Puts it in a percentage so you can compare crews. And we were always like 2% behind them. They were just super consistent. They just, every single day they went out and they performed. But we thought, no, we'll make up that 2%, just pulling it out of our hat at the Olympic final. And so it was a little bit disappointing when that didn't happen. But it was a really good lesson to me that actually, by the time you get to the Olympics, you've got to be in a position to win. And if you're not in a position to win, no matter what you do, you're never going to get there. So that was, a fairly good lesson. And what I decided after that was actually, I've been rowing for 4 years. That's not a long time in the sport, but for me, quitting my job, moving to Cambridge, we're training 6 days a week. We're training, at least twice a day. Usually end up with about 14 sessions in those 6 days. So it's a pretty tough life. You're pretty tired by the end of a week. You get a little bit grumpy. If you train hard enough, you end up getting to a position where actually you don't want to eat because you're so tired, but you need the food to be able to get you through the next session. So it's actually, it's now an issue I have the other way, that I still want to eat, but I don't do the training to deserve what I eat. But, it's funny when you're in that hard training that your body actually says, well, no, I don't want to eat, but you've got to force yourself. So that's even a chore in itself. But so that was where I was at, and I kind of made the decision, well, actually, the 4 was fantastic. It was great. One of those crew members was Eric Murray in that 4, so we were good upcoming guys, but I decided I wanted to go out on my own and find out how good I was, because really the thinking was, if I'm not any good in this sport, I don't want to hang around for the next 10 years and never really make it. If I go in the single, I'll have a pretty quick test of where I am and am I good enough to make it in this sport. Now, I had one little issue in the single. My best time at the time in the single was 7 minutes and 2 seconds, and the world record was 6:36. So as you can see, there's quite a disparity between where I was and where I wanted to be. For all those mathematicians, it's about 26 seconds. Now, for me, I said to myself, well, I've got basically 4 years to find that. So the plan was, well, if you say 26 seconds, that's massive. If you say 26 seconds over 4 years, that's a little bit more achievable. And then you say, okay, so we'll call it 28, so we can divide it by 4. So we've got 7 seconds a year. Now we train 11 months a year, 6 days a week, 14 sessions a week. So every single session, you only need like tiny little fractions of a second that will add up over those 4 years to get you where you wanted to go. So that's basically how I approached it. I was like, well, 26 seconds seems too much, but all I actually need to do is find those little millimetres every single day, and over 4 years that's going to add up to get me where I want to go. So that was what I thought. I had one issue. They didn't want me in the single. And this is the selectors I'm talking about. So we had a little bit of a standoff. I can be quite stubborn and I guess pig-headed when I want something. And I got to the trials and they said to me, well, you can basically go in the 4 or you can go home. And I said, well, I'm going home. My girlfriend at the time was living in the UK, so I said, I'm off to the UK. I'm going to go and do my rowing over there. And the CEO of Rowing New Zealand, I basically rang him up and said, I'm leaving on Thursday. I'm off to the UK. He said, you should maybe, why are you going? I said, well, the selectors don't want me in the single. I think I'm good enough to be in the single. He said, well, maybe go to the Ombudsman. So that's what I did. And the Ombudsman said, yeah, you've got a case. I think you should at least have an opportunity. So that was really all I wanted, was an opportunity. But then they gave me to Dick Tonks. And what I didn't know at the time, he was the coach of the Twins. He was New Zealand's greatest ever coach over any sport. He's won the most Olympic gold medals of any person in the country. So, it was great because I knew that, he was the guy that could get me where I wanted to go. But on the other hand, Dick has a reputation, and he'll probably say himself, well, he did say himself to Craig, the CEO, said, give him to me for a year, I'll break him, we'll be back in the 4 next year. I didn't know that at the time, but man, did he break me. And, basically we started on a Monday, and I'd have to pace the twins. And the twins' world best time was 6:38, so they were very, very good comparison, except they could do 6:38 and they'd done 6:38 because they held the world best time. I could obviously only do 7:02 at the time. So for me to keep up with them on Monday was a tough ask. And Monday was a very tough day because it was about 5 hours of training. And that would break me for the rest of the week. By Tuesday, I was struggling to keep up with them in the singles. They were in the singles and I was in the single. And, their time in the single was about 7:14 and mine was supposed to be, 7 or 6:36. So, that was sort of how much he broke me each week, but I just hung in there. One of the saviours was, this will sound strange, but I got hit by a water scare and I fractured my back. Now, it wasn't nice at the time and it was very, very scary because I lost all the feeling in my legs. I was in the water. I thought my rowing career was over. But I got flown to hospital in the chopper and they x-rayed me and scanned me and said, you've been very lucky. You've got a couple of fractured vertebrae, but you'll be okay. The reason that saved me is it gave me some time off and it gave me a little bit of time to recover. But it was only about 6 weeks out from the going away and being at the World Cups. Now the doctor said, 6 or 8 weeks, you should be right. We were leaving in about 6, and I sort of planned, well, okay, I'll have 3 weeks off and then I'll start to get back into it. After 10 days, Dick came to me and said, well, if you want to make it, you're going to have to get back in the boat. I was like, well, the doctors have said, 6 to 8 weeks, I should be good in about 3. He said, no, I'll see you on Monday. And so it was pretty hard, I guess, getting back into it. I was still pretty sore. I was on painkillers, but I got out in the water, and after about 5k, my legs hurt enough, but my back didn't really hurt so much. So that was sort of the mindset, I guess, that I went through. And so I got to that first World Cup, and that first World Cup, I won a silver medal, and that was the turning point, I guess, in my career, because that was the moment that I realised I can actually do this and I can actually make this. It was probably the worst thing that could happen to my competitors because it gave me that belief. And I remember coming in and I was just like absolutely over the moon. And, Dick met me at the pontoon and he just completely serious. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I thought that was quite good. And he's like, you've got a fractured back. You're not supposed to be in the A final, and you're winning silver medals. He said that was fantastic. I was like, oh, okay, that's all good. I haven't done anything wrong. Interestingly, 3 weeks later we had the next World Cup, and I got silver again. But I was absolutely gutted. And, that was just that, I guess, that expectation. And the reason I was really gutted was actually I had one of the greatest races of my life. And I'd put absolutely everything out there and I got rowed through in the end and lost the race. And so, that was really tough because I was like, obviously I was absolutely ecstatic with a silver medal. But on the other hand, I was like, well, what more can I do? How can I get there? But the best thing that happened to me then was the twins lost for the first time in 4 years. And they were pissed. And, that was the best thing that happened to me because they were my training partner. And, they just, the next 6 weeks building up to the World Champs, they just put the hammer down. And I just tried to hang on to them as much as I could. And 2005, I ended up winning my first World Championship gold. And, that was a pretty special moment. It was a pretty special moment in our sport because in 45 minutes, we won 4 events in a row. And we won 4 gold medals. We only had 11 athletes at that World Champs, and 7 of us came back with World Championship medals. It just happened to be that was the year that Spark was introduced, which was the precursor to High Performance Sport New Zealand, and they started funding sport. And so from that day on, rowing has been the best funded sport in this country, and partly because of those results. So, that was a pretty awesome, start in the single, and it certainly meant that I was certainly good enough to compete on the world stage, and I was going to continue in this sport for quite a while. The next year I went on and set the world best time at 6:35. So in 2 years I'd managed to take 27 seconds, which was pretty satisfying. Went on to win again in 2007, and so went into the Olympics as the 3-time world champion. It was a little bit of a tough build-up in 2008 because Rob Waddell came out of retirement, came back from Team New Zealand, and decided that he wanted to go to the Olympics. And he was the guy that initially inspired me to get off the couch and try to race for New Zealand, and now I felt like he was coming and taking my spot. Now, I have no issue with what Rob did. Again, we had a few issues between myself and Rowing New Zealand because they were not upfront with the process. They were telling me one thing, they were telling him another, and we got 6 weeks out from our trials, and they said you're going to a best of 3 race off, and I was pretty annoyed about that because I had gone to them on numerous occasions and said, is this a problem? No, Rob's not going for your seat. You just focus on Beijing. So that's exactly what I was doing. And through that summer, he beat me a couple of times, and then they sort of freaked out and decided that now we had to go to a race-off. Now, that was one of the toughest moments of my life because, at a World Champs, a World Cup, generally you get through, you got heats, semis, finals. You only have to race well once, and that's all you have to do. But this was different because I raced well once. I won the first race. We came back the next day. We raced again. He beat me. And so now you're going into the third day, in a row, and these are all 3 finals in a row. So it's quite a unique experience. Ultimately, his body gave out on him. He had arterial fibrillation in that third race. And, that's unfortunately the tough thing about sport. It's all about how you compete on that day. And I'll talk about that a little bit in Beijing. But, I had my seat to Beijing. So the rest of the build-up went pretty well. And going into Beijing, certainly felt very confident. I had done everything I thought I needed to do. I got to Beijing, I was in a position to win, and then once you're in that position, there's only 1 or 2 guys at that Olympics that are in that position, and then you've got to go and do that performance. Now, I was going to learn about the brutality, I guess, of sport, because the hard thing about the Olympics and why it's so special to perform and win is because it's one day in 4 years that you have to be at your absolute peak. Now that is a very, very hard thing to do. It's very easy to go out and perform on a day when it maybe doesn't matter, but to get all the stars to align, to get yourself in a position to win and then go out and perform on one day in 4 years is very, very tough. Now, in that week, I got sick. And, sickness is not the end of the world, but what happened is, I was vomiting, I had diarrhea, I lost 5 kilos through dehydration. And I got it on the Sunday, my final was going to be the following Saturday, so at the time I was like, no, this is all good. The problem is, I raced on Tuesday, I raced on Thursday, and then I raced on Saturday. And I'd just start to come over the worst of the illness, and then I'd have to race. And when you're racing, you're pushing your body, to its limits. After the quarterfinal, because the quarterfinal should be a reasonably easy race, and I did win the quarterfinal, but afterwards, you're vomiting on the side, and everyone's kind of looking at me. I was trying to keep it secret because you don't want your competitors to know, and then you're trying to, sort of look like, oh, that was pretty easy for me, and then you're over the side vomiting. So it wasn't ideal. And then the semi-final, again, I felt pretty good. I led the race till like last 500 metres and then just started running out of steam. And after that, I was an absolute mess. And, I knew I was in trouble then. I only just made the final. I'd gone from being 5 seconds ahead of a guy that was in fourth, and I beat him by 0.6 of a second just to make the final. I'd lost, I'd never lost that sort of ground in that last 500 metres. But, then it was pretty serious, and I knew that I was in trouble. And so I actually, we had a satellite village out at the course. I went back into the main village and spent a couple of days on a drip. I was in the hospital and, just trying to get myself in as good a position as I possibly could. So Friday night rolled around. I got, I was actually feeling pretty good. I'd basically replaced all the fluids and I said, okay, I'm good. I'm going back to the satellite village, which I did. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a relapse that night. Woke up the next morning, I was 5 kilos light again. So not the ideal situation. In hindsight, I made a mistake. I was offered a trip back to the village to get a drip the next morning. It was an hour drive, so it was 2 hours total. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm going to be all right. One, if I was more experienced, I would have got them to bring the drip to me, or two, I would have done it anyway, just because that could have been the difference. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I convinced myself all the reasons why I was going to be better off. You're 5 kilos lighter, obviously better power to weight. Unfortunately, with dehydration, you don't have all that power. But that's beside the point. Now that race. It's bittersweet for me still, and I've got a bronze medal down on the table there. I'm very proud of that bronze medal, and the reason I'm proud of it is because that is still the hardest I've ever pushed my body in my life. I don't remember the finish of a race. I didn't know where I'd finished. I don't remember the last 100 metres. I remembered up until the last 100 metres, and it was going pretty bloody well. I led through the 1500. I knew that after that semi-final, that's sort of where I died, and so I kind of put in a bit more of an extra burst in that 250 to just try to get a little bit more buffer, and then just completely crashed. We're talking 13 strokes. That's all it takes to get you over 100 metres, and I just had nothing, and as I say, I don't even remember finishing. So I'm absolutely proud of that because there was nothing more I could have done on that day, and that was me. And unfortunately, on that day, there was 2 guys that were better than me. Now that is pretty hard. On the flip side, because I went there to win gold and I didn't achieve my goal. So that is something that I guess I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. But it was a massive learning experience, and I guess the hard thing about it was afterwards I was like, well, if I'm going to continue, these sort of things can happen, and that's just sport for you. You don't know what's going to happen. I couldn't control getting sick. We've seen over the last 2 years, what can happen with a pandemic and how that can change things. But those things are out of your control. So I was kind of like, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to push myself to the absolute utmost. How am I going to, guarantee that I can win no matter what happens to me? And obviously there's never a guarantee, but you have to do everything you possibly can. So what I did is I had a lot of soul searching in probably that 3 months after Beijing, and I didn't know where I was going to continue because I was pretty gutted about all that work and not getting where I wanted to go. So what I did is I went round and asked all the people that I trusted and that had helped me over the years, and I had a pretty simple question. I said, we're not talking about the illness because that's not an excuse, and the reason being is you can't control that. But why did I not win in Beijing? That was really my question, and it was pretty hard, talking to someone and hearing, I guess, your flaws, because that's really what I wanted to know. What could I do better? You know, what could I improve on? I didn't want to hear the good stuff as much because I needed to hear the truth. And you know, I had to look at myself in the mirror as well and be completely honest with myself. And that was hard, but it was also really exciting. And why it was exciting is because to cut a long story short, what came out of it was basically, although I had been winning and I had the world best time and I was a 3-time world champion, what I realised is I had been aiming to win and I'd been just doing enough to win. But what I realised is I could actually be better than that. That I wasn't pushing myself, I wasn't as good as Mahe Drysdale could possibly be. And that was, you know, quite a distinction. Being the best in the world and being the absolute best you can be are two quite different things. And I knew there was quite a big gap there. And that is what excited me, and that's what ultimately got me to continue. And then, you know, it really, you know, I really sort of got on and ripped into it, and, you know, came at it with an absolutely new vigour. And after that 2009 year, that was still probably the best year of my career. I didn't lose a race. I took another 2 seconds off the world best time, and that just reaffirmed to me, well, actually, that's how good you can be, and this is only year 1 of 4. Unfortunately, things went downhill after that. I hurt my back quite severely in 2010. I couldn't train for most of a year. I was eventually diagnosed with arthritis in my back, and that was, that was pretty tough. But then again, I was actually quite excited when I was diagnosed with arthritis. And I know a lot of people say you're really weird because all these things that happen, were helpful. But just having a diagnosis meant that I could deal with it. And that's really the key to sport. A brick wall's put in front of you. What are you going to do? Is it going to stop you, or are you going to find a way to knock it down or get over it? And that was what arthritis was to me. How do I get past this and still do? So that changed all my training, got me on the bike for half my training, and from that day forward, I've basically trained half of the time in the boat, half of the time on the bike. 2011 went pretty well. But I had a bike crash the day before the World Champs. That was not ideal. I was riding down the road and a car backed out, and I just slammed straight into the side of it out of a car parking place, did a Superman over the bonnet, and landed on the ground. I had scars all up my arms, but thankfully I sort of stood up and I thought, I'm all good. I pulled my groin muscle, just I think from probably unclicking out of the pedals, but thankfully that's not a needed muscle for rowing. So I was all scarred up in the race, but went on and won that World Champs, which certainly gave me a lot of confidence, because that was the first year I trained on the bike, and that just gave me that confidence that actually this training can be just as good as rowing twice a day. So then I had another good year in 2012. Again, 6 weeks out from the Olympics, I was riding around a roundabout in Germany. Car didn't see me, came through a roundabout, hit the car, came off my bike. And at the time I thought, I'm all right. My bike got a bit broken. It was a little bit awkward because I had no way of getting home. I didn't have my phone. And I had to literally sort of pick up the pieces of my bike, put it in the lady's car that hit me, and then drive an hour with her to take me home. I got out of the car and I thought, I'm all good. Got my bike. I went upstairs and went to take my jersey off, my cycling jersey, and I couldn't lift my arm, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. Trying to do a dance as you're trying to get this top off, and I was off to the hospital, and they said, okay, you've got an AC joint injury. It'll take 8 weeks to recover. And I was like, well, I'm racing at the Olympics in 6. So by the time I walked out of there, we'd convinced the doctor that it was going to be better in 10 days. And so, the power of positive thought is pretty powerful. It wasn't powerful enough to fix my shoulder. After 10 days, I still couldn't row. After 3 weeks, I still couldn't row. And I was getting incredibly frustrated. We were in Switzerland. I remember because it was about 2.5 weeks, and I went out on the water and I tried to row, and I could not get my arm, anywhere out to there. And I was like, we're now coming up to 3 weeks out from the Olympics. This is not ideal. And I came in, I was so frustrated, I jumped on my bike. It was raining. I rode for 8.5 hours, 160 k's through the Swiss Alps, and I came home just absolutely drowned rat. And this is like cycling, basically one hand holding on and the other hand just on the bars. It wasn't too much of a problem, except for when you're descending a mountain pass and it's raining and you're going round corners and you put on the brakes and your whole weight sort of tries to lunge forward and you can't hold yourself on the shoulder. But, that was just one of those days that it felt good just to go and absolutely smash myself. After that, it was off to have a cortisone injection, and that was the thing that got me back in the boat. Just took away enough pain that I could at least row. And, again, it was the moment, I guess, that I'd been preparing for. And, it goes right back to that Beijing. I knew I had done everything in that 4 years to get me in a position to win. I knew there was nothing more I could do, and I knew that if there was a time that I could overcome it, it was going to be this time, because I just had not left anything on the table. And it was a pretty special Olympics, I guess. I spent 7 years out of my first 11 growing up in the UK, so it was kind of like going home, racing in London. And it was a course that I'd trained on quite a lot, because, as I said, I had a girlfriend in the UK in sort of 2004, 2005, and so I'd spent quite a lot of time there training, and it was a pretty special race. I was so nervous going into that final. Because I knew, I'd had one opportunity in Beijing. This was my moment to put it all together and make it count. And I was throwing up. I just felt absolutely miserable. I had the worst warm-up probably of my life. I just could not get it together, and it just was not feeling good. And I went into the blocks, and I was like, it doesn't matter, all that stuff, it just does not matter. You've got over the shoulder, and now you've got 7 minutes to just go out and absolutely nail it. And that as soon as that buzzer went, all that sickness, all that thought just went out of my mind. And that is still one of the greatest races of my life, to go out and do that under pressure. It certainly wasn't plain sailing, because as I got to the end, I basically 250 metres to go. If I had a length over Andre Sinek, who had raced so many times before, I was confident I'd hold on, but he's very strong over that last 100 metres. If it's half a length, I'd back him to win. It was 3/4 of a length, so it was kind of anyone's. And I just knew that I had to try to bury him, and I did. And then about 8 strokes into that 250, he started coming back at me, and I was like, oh no. And I was like, I think I've cooked myself. And I just hung on, and then about 100 metres to go, he looked around and he realised he wasn't going to close the gap. And you could just see in that moment, his shoulders dropped, and he just gave up. And that was the moment I knew I'd won the Olympic gold medal. But I still had 13 strokes to the line, and I thought of 13 different ways I could screw it up. And one of those strokes, I nearly did screw it up, because there was one very dodgy stroke where if you catch a blade in the water, it's called catching a crab, and I caught a mini crab. So, it wasn't the ideal sort of thinking, I guess. They always say think positively, don't think about the bad things, but I thought about every bad thing that could happen. Thankfully, none of them did. I crossed the finish line, and, that was... everyone asks, what was it like to win an Olympic gold medal? And, there was this... The immediate reaction was relief. I was like, I've done it. This is the dream that I've been working towards all my life, and I've actually done it. And then, you're just like, I'm so relieved, and then the elation kicks in. And there's a sort of a little pause, and then I put my arms up like this, and pretty much regretted that straight away because my shoulder really freaking hurt. But, it didn't really matter at that moment. And that was still I guess the race I'm most proud of, and doing that for the first time was incredibly special. I'm not going to talk about the next few years too much, but I will just touch on Rio. That was a very interesting race, I guess, because it was very different to London. I had all the nerves in London. I was feeling sick. I'd gone through all this adversity. In Rio, things had been going well, but over that week, the New Zealand team didn't do as well as we should have. Boat after boat seemed to not perform up to expectations, and that being one of the senior members of the team, our funding is dependent on results, and that put a huge amount of pressure on my shoulders. But that's what I love. I love pressure. For me, going into an event. It's, this means everything, and if it doesn't mean the world, then I'm not going to get the best out of myself. So, having that pressure was fantastic, and I remember I was so calm, I felt so good. You're sitting in the start blocks, you're looking up at Christ the Redeemer. It's a pretty magic sort of venue, and some of the footage is absolutely magnificent. And I just remember sitting in the start blocks, sort of looking around, going, I'm the only guy here that knows he can win an Olympic gold medal. So that was the sort of mentality I went into that race. And interestingly enough, I thought it was going to end very much like London. It pretty much panned out. I was behind, I came through, I got ahead. 500 metres to go, I thought, yep, this is me. 250 to go, I was like, yep, this is me. And then Demir Martin came from sort of nowhere, and he just started sprinting, and about 100 metres to go, I was sort of like, whoa, I don't even think I'm ahead here. And it was a pretty tense finish. Literally, it finished on a surge. I had no idea. It went to a photo finish. If you look at that photo finish, it is, we're talking literally millimetres. It separated us. It was an interesting finish, though, because I had absolutely no idea, but I finished, and again, I'd given it my all. I knew that was all I had in me. It was a fantastic race. I'd done it again on the big stage, and to be honest, I was happy with whichever result, whichever way it went. Just because I knew that was all I had in me, and I'd absolutely pulled out everything I had. So. It was a tense sort of 90 seconds, I guess, until the results came up. I'm not going to lie, the gold medal was better than the silver medal. But I think in the circumstances, I would have been happy to share that medal, and ultimately I would have been comfortable with the set of Olympic golds, a gold, a silver and a bronze, but 2 golds and a bronze still is better, and I'm certainly, and it's one of those things, I guess it was all that experience of just, whacking in those strokes. Basically your boat surges, and, I just got lucky in the fact my boat surged over the line, but, that is, again, that is the brutality and sport for you, and that's why every single day, every single moment, and every single stroke you take has to be the absolute best, because sometimes those millimetres are what separates you from ultimate glory, or in our world what can be considered failure. If as I said, that bronze medal to me, there still is. I'm very proud of it, but there's still a big part of that is failure. But that is also what I credit for getting me the success that I had in those next 2 Olympics, because it changed my mentality. I just wish I had learnt that before Beijing, and then I could have had 3 Olympic gold medals now. But that is the life of sport. That's why I love sport. It is just so pure. It is such a fantastic thing to be, and it turns people into wonderful humans. And I think that is the joys. That's why I love watching it. I still get the tingles. Although I didn't make it to Tokyo, probably one of the most emotional parts of my life was watching Emma Twigg finally come out and perform to the level we all knew she could perform. But again, she's gone through her struggles, 2 fourth places at the Olympics when she should have been a 2-time medalist, to go and put that all together and to win that gold medal. That was pretty special. The Olympics as well, it gave my kids, they're 2, 5 and 7, an appreciation of what my wife has also got an Olympic bronze medal from London, but what Mummy and Daddy had done. The problem is they're surrounded by all these athletes, so they actually think an Olympic medal is pretty easy to win. And it was, to be honest, I got a better appreciation in Tokyo about how hard an Olympic gold medal is to win, because this has been my life for 21 years. I've been striving, I've been working, and I expected to win. That was my life. And it's not until you take a step back and you watch everyone racing and competing that you realise actually that is something pretty special, and that is something pretty hard to do. But I guess when you're in it and living it every day, you just expect it. And you also sort of take that appreciation that actually, in the men's single field, there's 33 athletes and only one of them comes home with a gold medal. So, it's certainly put all that into perspective. But I certainly walk away from my sport knowing that it's turned me into the person I am today. I'm very appreciative of all those people that have helped me, as I mentioned at the start, all those people that have contributed to our sport, because you guys are really the heroes, and ultimately while we're out winning, we're winning on behalf of all of you guys, because you guys as taxpayers are supporting us to do what we love. So we are the lucky ones in all of that. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up. I probably ended up speaking for a little bit longer than I hoped. My life is now a wealth manager, and it's been quite a different sort of life. I'm using my brain instead of my body. That's why I've filled out a little bit. Too much food and not enough exercise. Interestingly, from a day I finished last June, I've been in the boat once. I love the sport. I will go back to it one day, but it's not something that really makes me want to go out and do it every day right now. I just need a little bit of time away. That was sort of my past life, and it's quite exciting starting in something else and coming home because your brain's fatigued, not your body. I think there might be a little bit of time for a couple of questions if anyone has them. I'll try to be quick, but then we can get on and celebrate the rest of you. But thanks for having me. It's been great to be out in front of a whole lot of people. I've got my medals up here, so feel free to come down, have a look. You can have a touch and have a photo, whatever you want to do. And certainly happy to answer any questions if you've got something you don't want to ask in front of the group as well. So thank you.
Just getting back to you working as an accountant. if you want to come back to Marston, there's a job up there, a little canning practice there. But just in terms of your success, obviously, you know, you're a beast of a man, so we've got similarities. Do you put your success down to your natural physical talent or to your mental strength? What do you sort of lean on there?
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. I don't put any of my success down to my natural talent because I'm actually very naturally untalented. And yes, I have the natural physique and, I guess the body that I was born to. I guess my pig-headedness and dogged determination has a lot of a part to play. Just that sort of never die and never give up attitude. But I truly believe, especially in the sport of rowing, it's actually very interesting because you see a lot of the naturally talented ones don't actually make it because they get it comes too easy. And, when if you look at all the Olympic champions that we've produced over the last few years, most of them weren't actually that talented at school. But they were the ones that, like Nathan Cohen, he's the guy I go to. When you talk about physique, he's 6 foot, which in a rowing circle, he's a midget. He came from the deep south. He rowed at school basically by himself. He did actually do quite well at school because he was in the single. But he had to fight for himself. He had to organise himself. He had to push himself. And that set him up well for later in life. Unfortunately, a lot of these people in the Māori Cup, they come out of an 8. The parents are putting it on for them. They don't cope when they get into that school system, that club system, and they've gone from winning to getting thrashed, to just keep doing that hard work. And that's ultimately what I put my success down to. It's Dick Tonks, absolutely smashing me every day. Physically, it wasn't always good for us, but man, did it toughen us up mentally. And ultimately, when you're lining up in that final, at the Olympics, there's 6 guys that are physically as good as you that you're going to come up against. And what the difference between the gold medal and the silver or bronze or 6th place is your mental strength. And that's what Dick delivered to us in spades. I've used a psychologist 5 times in my life. Those 5 times have all been very, very key, and one of those was in Rio. But most of my mental strength came from trying to survive the training sessions that Dick Tonks put us through, and that just made me into the person I was. So, yeah, I don't. Just to go back to a question, I don't put it down to natural talent. I put it down to a hell of a lot of hard work and some training that I would say was dubious, but certainly toughened me up as a mental as a mental athlete. And I still would back myself to be one of the mentally toughest people in rowing. And certainly, that's just by putting yourself through the ringer day after day and having to put up with all those injuries and pain and all that sort of stuff, which is just the reality of sport. You've got to be that, and that in all honesty, that is the only difference between Emma Twigg being a 4th place and being a gold medalist was a change in her mentality, and her belief in herself, was absolutely phenomenal going into Tokyo.
You mentioned Eric Murray earlier on. He's another big unit like himself. And we've seen Eric Murray perform exceedingly well on the water and also on the dance floor. I was wondering whether or not we might be seeing a Mahi Mambo.
Not at this stage. As I say, I don't have much natural talent. So my two left feet would probably just get in the way. But no, it was good to see Eric on the dance floor. It does inspire us to aim for bigger and better things. But yeah, I think I know my capabilities, and that's probably not one of mine. Right. Yeah.
So just on mental, you said about your mental toughness that put you through there. Do you think that the obviously experience you went through, and we've seen it in media, I know there's been some issues with cycling in New Zealand and things, there's a lot of pressure, and whether or not our athletes receive adequate support and mental health. Do you think what you went through then at the time, and obviously that made you shine through that, do you think the mental health support that's given to athletes then is the same now, or whether it's something that's being enhanced or improved on?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and look, it's a really tough space. I think the support is there if you want it. I think the way athletes treated can be improved. And I think it's very hard without getting into individual cases, and knowing all the facts on both sides as to whether it's right or wrong. I think what the comment I would make is we've got to be careful, because a coach like Dick Tonks, he has been thrown out of the system, and it's not the way to. He treated us like shit, to be fair, but it's not until hindsight that you realise what he gave me. And interestingly, we never had a relationship with him. We never spoke to him. Probably in the last few years of my career, I actually became quite close to him. But he, by then, trusted me, and we had been on quite a long journey together. He was fired 6 months out from the Olympics, and I had to fight to keep him. And that is just I guess partly where sport is going. So we just have to be very careful. Absolutely, we can have performance. Absolutely, we can look after our athletes, and it's trying to find that balance that we do that. I'm not by any means belittling mental health, because it is a big issue, and I know it's hard from me because I have had the success, but for every one of me there's 10 people that have been spat out along the way, and potentially their mental health is very different to mine. And it's how we deal with those, and how we pick them up and turn them into great people as well, which is the challenge. And I think everyone is grappling with that at the moment. How do we look after them? But what I would also say is high performance sport is rough. It's not for everyone. So it is. You've got to accept that you're not selected. And I went through that last year. I wasn't good enough, but I was lucky. I'd already, I guess, had a lot of success, and I walked away, happy and content. But unfortunately, not every athlete gets that opportunity out of high performance sport, which is unfortunate, but is also a little bit of a reality. But it's how we pick them up and look after them. And again, I would go back to the people in the room, because that is the hard thing, I guess. What changed for me, for example, when I started, I had a really big relationship with my club. I had really good coaches who have been my mentors throughout, and I always had that point of going back. Always had my family, and it's the family and it's those club coaches potentially that are the people that pick those people up and help them, and sometimes pick them up and turn them around, and they'll become successes later in life. And that is the hard thing, I guess, with high performance sport, because quite often now kids will go from school into a high performance program, and so they never get that link to a club or that support. to be able to, somewhere for them to go and someone to look after them when they do get that disappointment and try to talk them round to get them to that next level. So, that is probably a little bit of a missing link in sport, but, all you guys become important in that, the coaches and the athletes. If you see someone that misses out, go put your arm around them and, talk to them and try to pick them up and move them on to the next level.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a night. I'll tell you what a fantastic story, mate. If that's not a movie in the next 2 or 3 years, it's one I'd watch. Mahi Drysdale, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't disappear, Mahi. Come up here. We've got some Wairarapa product for you. Even the flax is growing here, so take that home with you. Thank you. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thanks very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and once again, thanks, Mahi. Into the second half of the night now. Our next category is the DPA Chartered Accountants Volunteer of the Year, an award acknowledging people who have volunteered their time, labour and talents to improving Wairarapa sport. It recognises the volunteers' entire career span. We'd like to welcome Andy Henson, Associate Accountant, DPA Chartered Accountants, to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. DPA Chartered Accountants are proud to sponsor the Volunteer of the Year Award. In sport and in business, to be successful, you need great people supporting you. The Sports Awards is a great opportunity to recognise these people that volunteer their time to our sporting clubs. Often this can go unnoticed. Without people like the 4 finalists we have here tonight, Carol, Dennis, Nefor and Rod, sporting organisations and clubs wouldn't exist. So thank you for the amazing work you do. And I just wanted to say I'm glad I'm not a judge tonight, so good luck.
Right, and the finalists are Carol McDonald, Athletics. Dennis Burling, Football. Nifo Toalili, Featherston Sport. And Rod Sutherland, Cycling and Athletics. Come on, Rod, you used to run faster than that.
And the winner of the Volunteer of the Year Award goes to Nefor.
Nefor does an outstanding job as the key volunteer running the Featherston Sports Hub. She dedicates her life to the children of Featherston, ensuring they have access to all sports, all the gear needed, food in their bellies, and transport and even coaches teams. Nefor is chief fundraiser, marketer and organising queen for all sports, rugby, netball, league, cricket and athletics, and has been the main force behind the growth of junior sport in Featherston.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this. I just want to say thank you to Wairarapa Times-Age for this event and for acknowledging all the amazing people like these guys that are also volunteering. And thank you to all our sponsors out there and DPA for sponsoring this. Okay, and I also want to acknowledge all our people in Featherston that have supported me and my family. Thank you.
Tell you what, BG, the volunteer and the administrator, I reckon you could pick about 50 people out in each category and you'd still struggle to find a winner because they're very, very tough categories. But we'll move on to the Brian's Furniture Administrator of the Year, an award acknowledging people who have contributed to the administration of sport recognises the administrator's entire career span. And I'd like to welcome Brian Stott, the owner of Brian's Furniture, to come forward.
And the finalists in the Brian's Furniture Administrator of the Year category are Don Griffin, Bowls. Gail Miller, Hockey. George Sandoval, Cycling. And Raywin Ward, Croquet.
Brian's Furniture's very proud to be here to present the award for Administrator of the Year. I know in business that if we get things wrong on the back end, that the wheels start falling off, and it's quite easy to fix. If one of these guys makes mistakes, all the effort from athletes, coaches, if they forget to enter teams, pay the bills, search for funding, it all falls over. So they can all be very proud to be here, and yeah, well done. And the Brian's Furniture Administrator of the Year, George Sandoval.
Okay, George organised and ran the Trust House New Zealand Cycle Classic, the only UCI accredited stage race in New Zealand, raced over 5 days in January. He also organised the successful Trust House North Island Team Series held in Wairarapa over 5 weekends in late 2021. The task of holding both events was made much more difficult with strict requirements in place under the COVID-19 alert level restrictions. This limited his ability to bring in top overseas teams for the Cycle Classic. Despite that, George still managed to assemble quality fields for both events.
Yes, thank you and congratulations to all the finalists. Someone said here before, we are all winners. Carry on with doing what you love in your sport because you make a big difference. I want to thank Brian Furniture, the sponsor of this category. Thank you very much. I want to thank the Wairarapa Times-Age for this amazing event every year. Unfortunately, for the last 2 years, they didn't have it, but it's come back again. Listen to Mr. Drysdale. Sorry, my Spanglish is not that good, but it's been a really honor to listen to you, mate. We see you winning races, and we're screaming at you in our living room, and you make so many people happy, and just listen to what you had to go through to win a race. It makes it even more important, so I really appreciate it, and it's been an honor listening to you today. Thank you. Thank you for coming to Wairarapa. I organized the International Cycle Classic and some of the bike races for the last 35 years. I got many sponsors to thank, but Trust House, Fagan Motors, Wish Wireless, one of the main sponsors for the cycle races. I also want to thank all the local authorities, South Wairarapa, Carterton, and Masterton for the support every year. And I accept this award on behalf of about 65 volunteers, race officials, motorcycle marshals, that make sure that my events goes on every year. Thank you.
Our next category, ladies and gentlemen, is the Masterton District Council Junior Official of the Year. An award acknowledging any person under 18 who acts as an umpire, referee or judge. I'd like to welcome Kelsey Rutini, Community Development Team Leader, Masterton District Council, to the stage. Gee, Kelsey, you've changed.
Thank you, Councillor Gear. Apologies, first of all, from Mayor Lynn Patterson. So you've got me, Graham McClymont, Deputy Mayor. Masterton District Council are very proud to sponsor these next two awards. But I'd also like to recognise Carlton District Council and South Wairarapa District Council tonight, because councils underpin an awful lot of the infrastructure that allows sport to happen. Rates are always a hot topic, but without the continued ratepayer support, we couldn't, on all your behalf, run all these facilities that we do. But saying that, without all the officials, administrators and players that were seen tonight, the facilities would be empty. So it really is, it's about people. It's about people. So on behalf of the three councils, we appreciate and recognise everyone and the efforts that are involved in running Wairarapa sport. So thank you.
The finalists in the Masterton District Council Junior Official of the Year, if you'd like to come forward to the stage as we mention your name. Finn Roberts for hockey. Flynn Register, hockey. Maya Cullen, netball. And Sian Wheeler, netball.
Oh, Rocky, looking on, why did you put a bit of paper? Okay, the winner of the Junior Official of the Year is Flynn Register.
Flynn began umpiring 2020 and rapidly progressed from college games through to officiating local senior games. In 2021, he was awarded the Hockey New Zealand Alan Lind Scholarship for under-19 up-and-coming male umpires. Flynn fits umpiring into a busy schedule, and he's also an accomplished hockey player himself, cricketer and promising athlete.
Flynn couldn't be here tonight, but I know that he would want to congratulate not only the finalists, but all of the nominees. It was no real surprise that he couldn't make it, because he's a very busy boy. He would look at tonight and think, this is about me. But as one of our leading prefects of the prefect team, he's currently involved in, or has been involved in, organising an event on a similar scale as this for his peers in the senior college, the boys and girls of St Matthews and Rathkeil. And that's where his priority is tonight, and that is serving other people. Something that I would say is that thing that all of those officials out there share, and that we should be eternally grateful for, because without that service, we simply can't do what we love. So on behalf of all of us, I'd like to thank all of them out there. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's move on to the Masterton District Council Official of the Year, an award acknowledging any person over the age of 18 who acts as an umpire, referee or judge. And we've already got Graham McClimate on stage, so we'll pass it over to you, BG, to announce the finalists.
And the finalists for the Masterton District Council Official of the Year are Alistair Payne, rugby. Darren Kerr, football. Mark Harris, athletics. And Peter Syvertson for hockey.
And the winner of the Official of the Year is Peter Sigvardsson.
Peter has been a hockey umpire for the last 15 years, umpiring regularly in the Wellington Premier Men's and Women's competitions. Pete was recognised by New Zealand Hockey, being added to the Umpires Foundation panel and invited to umpire at the 2021 National Hockey Championships. With their cancellation, he umpired at the replacement Lower North Island tournament. Peter's umpires manager for Wairarapa, contributing many hours developing skills of local junior umpires. He also facilitates the community level umpire training qualification program for the Wairarapa. You need to bring that one down, Pete.
I just want to congratulate the other finalists. Also just want to thank Marsden District Council for the sponsorship of this award. Thank you to Kelly and Jess at Hockey Wairarapa for pushing me. Also my wife as well for basically never seeing me on the weekend because I'm always out at hockey, so yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, our next category tonight is proudly sponsored by WBS, an award acknowledging people who have contributed to the coaching of sport, recognises the coaches' successes over the past 12 months. Welcome up to the stage, please, CEO WBS, Jenny Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Brent, and welcome to everyone tonight. It's so good to be here. It's the first time in a very long time, I think, that WBS has sponsored one of these awards, and it's been really exciting for me to watch all of the people come up here and celebrate all their hard work, whether it's the athletes, whether it's the coaches, whether it's the umpires, the volunteers, the administrators, and as so many people have already said, you are all a key part of the sporting community, and without all of you it wouldn't happen. And it's great to see sport so alive and well in the Wairarapa and so many people involved. Really, really thrilled to have you all here, and congratulations to all the finalists. And never thought I'd see the day I'd be on the same stage as Mahi Drysdale, so that's pretty exciting. And really, really inspirational to hear your speech and all the struggles you've been through and how you overcame them, so thank you.
And the finalists for Coach of the Year, Catherine Resma, Hockey. Mark Childs and Paul Pottinger, Rugby. Mark Harris, Athletics. And Rada McGlashan, Football. And I'll now ask Jenny to announce the winner.
And the winner of the WBS Coach of the Year is Catherine Resma.
Catherine Resma coached Dalefield to win the Wellington Premier Championship for the second year in a row in her first season as player coach. The team overcame some early season losses to qualify for the top four, where they beat Hutt United to set up a final against Harbour City. Dalefield held a 1-0 lead until conceding a goal in the last minute, which sent the game to a shootout. Dalefield goalkeeper Amy Rossiter-Steed saved all three Harbour City attempts, while Dalefield scored all three to lift the trophy.
I'd just like to thank Wairarapa Times-Age for putting on tonight, to WBS for sponsoring the award, to Karen and Michael O'Connor who managed the team and helped me coach. They took care of the rest of the stuff so I could just focus on what happens on the turf. Without them, the team wouldn't work. And to the girls who just made it easy to coach, we're out there doing what we love, and yeah, who wouldn't want to coach and be a part of that? So yeah, thank you guys.
Okay, it's time to move on to a special announcement, and these are the Wairarapa Sport Education Trust scholarships. This year, the Wairarapa Sports Education Trust will award 3 scholarships, 2 of $750 and 1 of $1,000, to go towards special coaching, training or competition expenses. Now I'll ask each winner to come on stage as their names are called. After all awards are presented, we'll ask them to please exit the stage and head to the side for a group photo with the Wairarapa Sports Education Trust, please. I'd like to welcome Jason Osborne, the Chair, and Mark Childs, Trustees of Wairarapa Sports Education Trust, onto the stage. Thank you.
As Cocky said, I'm the co-chairman of the Wairarapa Sports Education Trust, and Mark is here with me as trustee of that trust. We also have a few other very hard-working members on that trust. We've got Corey James, who's my co-chairman, Seth Newton sitting down there, is our marketing manager, Andy Dodd, who's our own sporting superstar, and Dean Napier, who's recently joined on as treasurer. The Wairarapa Sports Education Trust was established over 20 years ago to encourage sporting excellence in our local region. Our focus is based on assisting those promising athletes who, without financial help, may not have the opportunity to fly the flag for the Wairarapa and go further in their chosen field, as unfortunately funding is often a roadblock to local talent progressing. We help cover such things as training fees, camps, tournament costs, coaches and travel to certain events. Tonight's recipients of the scholarships have shown a true dedication to excelling in sport and have proven that they have the potential to go even further.
Yeah, we run 2 major fundraisers per annum. We do a Golf Ambrose tournament at Marston Golf Club, which we've just successfully ran again. So thanks to all the golfers out there and the businesses that supported that, raising over $12,000 on that day. And we have a bowls tournament, outdoor bowls tournament in November, which is always good fun. So yeah, go on our Facebook page, and if you're keen to join in, we'd really appreciate it.
As Andrew sort of alluded to right at the start, we're currently planning quite a significant event for the Wairarapa sports community. After sort of floating around in my head for many years, we're now about to launch a Wairarapa Sports Hall of Fame. Planning is well underway for the inaugural induction event, which will occur on the Saturday the 5th of November at this venue. A judging panel have chosen their 12 initial inductees with a few familiar names and some not so familiar, but all very significant achievers that have ties to the Wairarapa region. So look out for more information as we put the final touches on what is guaranteed to be a magnificent night, celebrating some amazing Wairarapa sports people and teams.
Okay, our first recipient tonight is Ava Wilson, swimming. Ava is 13 years old at Solway College and is coached by Russell Gange out of the Carterton Swim Club. Ava has been swimming competitively since she was 10 years old. In April 2022, she competed at the Swimming New Zealand National Age Group Championships and won gold in the 200 metres freestyle, 400 metres freestyle and 800 metres freestyle events. Earlier this year, Ava also won the Wellington Ocean Swim Series 3.3 kilometre race in the 13-year-old age group and was placed 3rd overall for all female swimmers. Ava has also won the 12 to 13 year age group at the National Secondary Schools Ocean Swim event at Mount Maunganui. Ava is training for upcoming national events and her goal is to represent New Zealand at the Olympic Games. Ava Wilson.
Our next recipient tonight is Maggie Shields for softball. Maggie is 14 years old, MIS, Wairarapa College, Giant Softball Club, Masterton and Saints Softball Club, Lower Hutt. Maggie is a talented young softballer who has played this year, selected by the New Zealand Under-15 Development Sox team. Locally, Maggie plays for the Giant Softball Club and travels to the Hutt Valley where she plays for the Saints Club. She was named Saints Under-17 MVP for the 21-22 season and has played representative softball for Hutt Valley through the age groups of under 11, 13, 15 and 17. Maggie was selected in the tournament team in the Central Region Under-17 tournament in 2022 and is currently busy with off-season training, which includes attending regional and national training camps. Maggie Shields.
Our third recipient is Ollie Donaldson for handball, beach handball. Ollie is 21 years old from St Patrick's Primary, MIS, Rathkiel College and Otago University. Ollie started playing beach handball in 2020 and has represented Otago at the National Championships for the last 2 years. In early 2022, he was selected in the New Zealand men's team to play in the Oceania Championships on the Gold Coast. This team caused a massive upset, beating the highly favoured Australians to claim their place in the International Handball Federation World Beach Handball Championships in Crete between June the 21st and June the 26th. Following this, the team heads to the USA, where they'll represent Oceania at the World Beach Games in Alabama in July. Ollie also plays indoor handball on the New Zealand circuit, and the National Beach Handball Circuit resumes for the summer in November 2022. Ollie Donaldson.
Obviously, as Coggy alluded to, Ollie is actually away at the moment, competing in the sun of Crete. So it's absolutely fantastic, and these are just some of our unbelievably talented top athletes.
Cess, how's he getting on? Have they won any games or? They're competitive, yeah. Good on you. Oh, okay, fair enough.
It takes at least 4 years, doesn't it, Mahi? At least 4 years. You never know. Ladies and gentlemen, your wonderful recipients this evening. All right, that's us for a few minutes. Go and refresh your drinks, use the lavatory if you need to. There is tea and coffee out in the foyer, and we will be back real soon with the final part of our awards night, kicking off with Junior Sport Personality of the Year.
Oh, Baker, you go crazy, don't you take the blame. Just get in that pickup truck and gonna meet the day. And I see you down the end of the road someday. Hey. Cool.
Welcome to EV Cars Wairarapa there, and you can see we're working from home. We've got new vehicles arriving all the time, all electric, nothing else, and you just got to come and drive one. So we import directly from Japan, so it saves a lot of costs. I personally buy the cars over there. Join me on evcars.co.nz or phone me on 027 243 6762 and experience the future. Come and test drive and make up your own mind. See what you think.
Download the Wairarapa TV phone apps today. Just search for Wairarapa TV in the app stores or visit our website at www.wairarapatv.co.nz and click on the App Store links. The Wairarapa TV phone apps can be used to live stream to your TV. watch on the go, or catch up on latest news, weather and what's on. You can even use the app to submit your own video. Download today from the App Store.
Putting off servicing or repairing your vehicle can mean greater costs in the future, or worse, putting your family at risk in an unsafe or unreliable vehicle. If you think something's wrong with your vehicle or your service is overdue, you can trust your locally owned Auto Super Shops workshop to offer honest advice on what's needed to keep your car safe and properly maintained. For peace of mind, talk to an Auto Super Shops today.
Wairarapa TV is proudly supported by Trust House Limited, supporting your community.
I'm Sam Rossiter-Stead.
G'day, Kieran McAnulty.
Hey, we're looking to raise as much funds as possible for the Rural Support Trust, thanks to Arrow FM and Wairarapa TV.
Yeah, it's a bloody good cause, and I'm really keen to raise as much money as we can, and by doing so and attempting the world record for the longest interview, I think it's a pretty cool way to do it.
So we're going for the longest TV interview and the longest radio interview. We're doing that at the White Swan Country Hotel in Greytown on the 25th and the 26th of June. So tune in, join us, and please give us a donation to the Rural Support Trust.
Have you been to Garden Barn in Masterton? It's a garden centre and nursery behind the big hedge down High Street, and it has been owned and run by a local family for over 20 years. The whole team love what they do and they are always happy to help their customers. If you're landscaping a new section, updating your pots or growing your own fruit and veggies, they are the place to go for quality and affordable plants. Drive into their brand new car park and discover Garden Barn for yourself today. They are open every day from 8:30 till 5:30.
Right, good afternoon everyone. My name's Sam Rossiter-Stead, a proud resident of Greytown, and very honoured to be making my debut here on these wonderful broadcast channels. With me I have Kieran McAnulty, and we've got something pretty special planned for the 25th and 26th of June. So over to you, Kieran. What are we up to?
Well, g'day mates, and g'day everyone. So the way it played out was a good mate of mine, you, came up to me one day and said, I've got a plan. And that's not the first time I've heard you come to me and said, I've got an idea, let's run with this. So I thought, oh yeah, righto, what's that? And he said, how about we go for a Guinness World Record? I thought, oh, I don't really want to cover my head in bees or, you know, hold my breath underwater and all that sort of stuff, but you nailed it. Let's go for the world's longest radio interview. 26 hours or something, is it?
Yeah. I think we're going to aim for about 26 and a half hours.
It's a long time. It's a lot of talking, and you know, there's a few things to come across there. Obviously, you're going to get tired. Your voice is going to get a bit hoarse. All those sorts of things. There's the reality of being in one place for 26 hours. So your body might get sore. You'll have to go to the bathroom at various times. But
move on. Breadcraft Junior Sports Personality of the Year. That's our next category. It's open to any primary and intermediate school student who has achieved a high standard in any sport. And I'd like to welcome Petro De Bruyne, the Finance Manager from Breadcraft, on stage. Thank you.
Hi, evening. I'm privileged tonight to represent Breadcraft and John and Julianne Coburn from Breadcraft, the owners. They would have loved to be here and they would have loved to meet the young people at my table tonight. I can certainly see why they have been nominated for this award. Thank you very much for our gracious hosts, and good luck to Ava, Violet, Luke and William on my table. Thanks.
And the finalists are Ava Wilson, swimming. Luke Lang, golf. Violet Fisher for athletics and football. And William Osborne for tennis, cricket and golf.
By the way, if you're coming up, just be careful if you're standing at the back. I'll just now ask Petro to announce the winner.
And the winner of this category is William Osborne.
William produced the highlight of the Wairarapa tennis season, winning the Open Boys grade at the Central Region Primary Schools Final. This victory is the first for a Wairarapa boy since current ATP doubles player Marcus Daniel. William has also played this season in the Regional 1 Interclub grade and was part of the Carterton team that won the Garworth Shield. In cricket, William represented Wairarapa, scoring 185 runs with an average of 110. William has started playing golf and has become one of the top players for his age group in Wairarapa. It's fair to say, BG, he's a talented young man.
Absolutely. Well done, William.
I would just like to say thank you to my parents, Mum taking me to literally every part of the country. Thanks to all the sponsors tonight, all my coaches. Yeah, thank you.
Our next category tonight is the Jenny and Holmes Wairarapa Youth Sports Personality of the Year, open to any secondary school student who has achieved a high standard in any sport. And we welcome Kevin Spencer, Operations Manager of Jenny and Holmes Wairarapa, to the stage.
Good evening. Ginny and Holmes are extremely proud to sponsor the Youth Sports Personality of the Year category. Congratulations to all of those here tonight. Your commitment and hard work to your sporting careers is commendable. I wish everyone the best of luck tonight and also for your future sporting goals as well. Good luck.
And the finalists are Kiana Dawson, hockey and handball. Mia Bartlett, athletics. Ocean Bartlett, cricket. And Sam Blundell, motocross. I'll now ask Kevin to announce the winner.
And the winner of the Ginny and Holmes Wairarapa Youth Sports Personality of the Year award is Sam Blundell.
Sam won the New Zealand Secondary Schools Motocross Championships in July 2021, heading home a strong field of 24 riders with 2 wins and a second placing in the 3 races. Sam also achieved first place in the Taupo Winter Series Championship and in the Manawatu Orion Winter Series, which were both held in the winter months of 2021. Heading off many experienced riders, Sam has national status at a young age, works extremely hard and is very passionate about his sport. Sam.
I just want to say I've definitely been put on the spot here, so yeah, I'm sort of just winging it, but I just want to say thank you to everyone here and all the sponsors and stuff like that. Yeah, cheers to everyone. I just want to say thank you to Johnny and Danny Burkhart who are here in the crowd. Johnny, if anybody knows him, he's been there and done it. He's one of the New Zealand's best racers in my opinion, and everyone can say that, but just a thanks to them. They took me in pretty much when I was in my last year of school, and they let me live with them pretty much, basically rent-free. I didn't pay them a cent. They didn't ask me for anything, so they're basically the most generous people I've ever met, so thanks to them. And and I'd also want to say thanks to my parents who have spent thousands of dollars on myself and me and my brothers who were all riding motorbikes at one stage. I'd hate to know where they'd be if they didn't spend money on the bikes, probably with a new house or something like that. But yeah, thanks to them and thanks to all the sacrifices they made for us. And yeah, cheers to everyone. Cheers. Cheers, thank you.
Okay, I think BG, of all the categories, that was the toughest. I think we had something like 60 nominations. Wow. And national champions were left out of the 4, so a very, very tough category there. So well done, even just making the finals. Right, Mitre 10 Mega Masterin Disabled Sports Personality of the Year, open to any disabled person who has achieved a high standard of participation in any sport. I'd like to welcome Brent Stewart, the General Manager of Mitre 10 Mega Masterin, on stage.
Well, isn't it fantastic that we can once again celebrate our local supporting successes in this kind of environment? Well done to the Times-Age team for hosting this event tonight. Mitre 10 Mega, once again, are delighted to sponsor this category and would like to acknowledge not only the efforts of our category nominees, but all nominees for their achievements over the last 12 months. Tonight we are celebrating the successes of Vanessa and Josh in this category and praise them on their efforts and determination to succeed at the highest level and wish them all the very best for the future.
And our finalists, Josh Taylor, athletics. Vanessa Connell, equestrian.
And we'll now ask Brent to announce the winner.
And the winner of the Disabled Sports Personality of the Year is Josh Taylor.
We also have a prize for Vanessa too, so an award for Vanessa, which is kindly sponsored by Mitre 10 Mega, so thank you. Do you want to say a word, Josh, or does Mum want to say a few words?
Anyone who knows Josh knows that he's not usually short of a few words, but get him in front of a crowd and he kind of panics. So this is not his first time here or his first time winning, but certainly the first time that any of us have gotten up and spoke. It takes a really big community to help raise a disabled person, really un-PC. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank all the people that are part of mine and Josh's lives who help support him, help support me, and have got him to where he is. So a special thanks to his coach, John Quinn, who's here in the crowd tonight. He's really fostered Josh's talent, and I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Just to wrap up Josh's achievements, he's won multiple titles in para events at national, North Island secondary school and regional events. He was first in the Open Para Senior 400 metres and long jump at the New Zealand Track and Field Championships in March this year. At the North Island Secondary School Champs, Josh won the Para 200, 400 and javelin and was second in the shot put. Josh finished first in the New Zealand Secondary School Cross Country Champs 2 kilometre para intellectual class. Congratulations, Josh.
Our next category tonight is the Senior Sports Personality of the Year, open to anyone who has achieved a high standard in any sport, participating at national and or international events, limited to Wairarapa residents or representatives of Wairarapa teams. Proud sponsors from Back in Action, I'd like to welcome Mary Ann up to present the award.
Bright light. Good evening, everyone. Every year, these awards highlight the talent present in the Wairarapa sporting community. Many of the sports people present here have used the type of service Back in Action offers, physio, chiro, massage therapy, to get them through their career and help them with those aches and pains and keep them at top level sport. Tonight we have one of our nominees who won't be coming up tonight because he's 1 week post-op on crutches, so we're not going to risk that. They are often the example of the perfect client, driven to achieve. They listen and learn and heed the advice of their clinicians, except if you're Mahe Drysdale by the sounds of it, and can turn 6 weeks rehab into 10 days to get their results thereafter because they're committed. As Mahe alluded to this evening, success isn't about natural talent. It's about consistency and commitment. Consistent hard work leads to success. Dane, Liam, Seth and Stefan, you're not here by chance. You've worked and trained hard and you should be immensely proud of all that you've achieved. We wish you all the best this evening and in your every endeavour.
Okay, the finalists are Dane Lett, hockey. Liam Lamb, athletics. Seth Rance, cricket. And Stefan Hook, cricket. Now, I know Stefan's not coming up because he just had an ACL operation, but Seth Rance is also in the fast bowling club, so he can grab a certificate for him. And I'll now ask Marianne to announce the winner.
And the winner of Senior Sports Personality of the Year is Dane Lett.
So Dane represented New Zealand at the Tokyo Olympics as a member of the Black Sticks hockey team. He also played in a Trans-Tasman series and Hockey Pro League matches against Australia. Dane was co-captain of the South team that won the inaugural North-South series in Hamilton. In November of 2021, Dane was named MVP as part of the Wellington team that won the inaugural Otatahi Cup, played against Canterbury and Otago. In February, Dane was selected in the national squad to prepare for the Trans-Tasman series, Commonwealth Games and Pro League. Dane Lett.
Yeah, I think firstly I'd just like to say a big thanks to the Wairarapa Times-Age for hosting this event. I think it's an awesome celebration of the great stuff that we do in sport in our community. And all of the finalists here tonight, I think the best thing about this, it's a celebration of the collective, not any one individual award or who gets it. There's just some fantastic things happening out in our community, and I think I really respect the work that everybody's doing. To Marianne and Ryan at Back in Action, thanks for your continued support. In this award, I've seen you here a few times, so it's awesome to have you guys back and supporting sport. Personally, just a huge thank you to my family. They allow me to do what I do. My partner holding down the fort with a 5-year-old boy at home while I'm over in Tokyo and stuck in isolation on the way back, and my parents that all the chip in when I'm away as well. So thanks a lot, and this award I sort of accept on them, and they ride the journey with me. Cheers.
Our next award tonight is the Pack and Save Masterton People's Choice Award, an award for Wairarapa residents to have a direct say as to what finalists they believe should be recognised for their contribution to local sport. The award is awarded to the finalist with the most public votes, and we welcome Richard Anderson, Butchery Manager, Pack and Save Masterton, to the stage.
Just on behalf of the Mark and Ada Pack and Save voters, they're very proud to support this category. And I've been playing sports in the Wairarapa since 1968, believe it or not. 5 years old, walked into the JAB Featherston. And ever since then, every sport I've played, every club I've been a member of, has always been a person that runs around and does just special things, you know. And if we haven't got those guys, we've got nothing. So well done to every special person in the Wairarapa sports. And the winner is Josh Taylor.
We know he's not going to say anything, don't we, Mel? So, well, you want to say something? Come on.
Oh, do I have to?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mum, for driving me around and all that.
He should thank the 745 people who voted for him. So there you go. Well done.
Outstanding. The Core Legal Lifetime Achievement Award is an award that recognises the lifetime achievements of anyone in Wairarapa sports. This is a biggie. Welcome Christian Jorgensen, Director from Core Legal, to the stage, please.
Good evening all. We're getting to the sharp end of the night. Like many before, I'd like to offer thanks to Times-Age, Mahi and everyone in attendance for such a fantastic event. Core Legal, we're very privileged to present this award, one that celebrates sporting excellence not only in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even seasons, but over the course of that recipient's lifetime. And that's no small thing. What I would know about this recipient is they'll be someone who's inspirational to many and someone we could all aspire to be. What's a little bit different about this recipient is they're not at my table, so I do not know who they are. All I can say is, I hope they don't own a red Subaru. So I look forward to announcing the winner.
Okay, this is interesting because I was trying to, when I started writing this, and I thought, how can I start this off without him finding out in the first couple of sentences? Well, I thought I'm up a creek without a certain paddle. So I thought I may as well just blow it out straight away. So the recipient of this year's Core Legal Lifetime Achievement was born in 1943, the sixth child born in a family of 16 who lived in a two-bedroom home in Millard Avenue. Maybe because he was one of the smaller kids in the family helped develop his speed and competitive spirit, as he had to be quick to get away from his older and bigger siblings. Athletics was in his blood though, and he joined up with Masterton Harriers, now Athletics and Cycling Masterton, or ACM as we know it, and he quickly showcased his talents. At the age of 25, he ran a 4-minute 13-second mile, which at the time was a world-class time. However, it was at the ultimate distance, the marathon, where he really came into his own. Between the ages of 40 and 45, he ran 16 sub-2-hour 30-minute marathons and won the National Marathon Masters Championships in Rotorua, Auckland and Christchurch. That led to a selection to represent New Zealand at the 1984 Australian Olympic Trials and the Fiji Marathon. Remarkably, this was all achieved while he was a quarantine officer on Soames Island in Wellington, where his training consisted of running endless loops of the small island. He has won national titles also in running, cycling and multisport events. As well as competing, he's a long-standing member and life member of ACM, having sat on the committee and assisted with the running of many local events. He has supported several local people with disabilities and sight impairment as a tandem cyclist, allowing them to maintain physical fitness and compete in cycling events. He's a member of Parkinson's Wairarapa, has organised the annual Parkinson's Awareness Week and helped organise the Pedal for Parkinson's cycle ride in conjunction with the annual Huri Huri cycling event. He is a member and former president of Masterton South Rotary. He has assisted with the Kids Zone Playground, the Masterton Intermediate Reading Program, the Round Taupo Cycle Race, and forming and maintaining the Millennium Reserve. In 2017, he was awarded the Queen's Service Medal for services to athletics, cycling and the community. Affectionately known as Grumpy Grandad, he is one of the true gentlemen of Wairarapa sport, and it is my great pleasure to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Rod Sutherland, QSM. Come on, Grumpy Grandad, you've got to say a few words.
This is a bit of a surprise. They're bright lights, aren't they? What do I say? I mean, I'll say thank you to the Times-Age, everybody that's organised this. Sport's been my life, to my detriment, as you can see from these. But you just keep doing what you're doing. And so all those people out there that do help in your sports club, whatever, keep doing it. We need you. All sports need you. I'm really proud of tonight. I've watched these events for too long. I've never been until tonight. And somebody decides that I can have this. I'm really proud and appreciative. I'm not going to stop though. So don't think that I've finished. Some people think that I should finish, but I won't. I just really appreciate tonight And this is something that I'm really proud of for my family. My wife has got Parkinson's. She can't come tonight, but we're lucky people. Okay, thank you.
Coggy, you've got to say, what an amazing man. What an absolutely stunning, beautiful, amazing man.
Do you think he's surprised?
A little bit. Absolutely brilliant. Well, we've come almost to the end of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attendance here. It's been an absolute pleasure. It is time for the Wairarapa Times-Age Supreme Award, recognising the Supreme Sportsperson of the Year from the 15 category winners. The award is awarded to a category winner judged to have made the biggest impact in Wairarapa sport. Please welcome Roger Parker, News Director of the Wairarapa Times-Age.
Thank you. Thank heavens for sport. It's been bringing people together for centuries. It's been bringing Wairarapa people together to the Sports Award evening since the 1960s. And the Times-Ages has an association with the Sports Awards for more than 40 years now. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I've got something on Mahi. We've heard about his many challenges. We've heard about the injuries, the tough coaches, the physical demands. But at no point did he mention humiliation. The humiliation one experiences when it's their red Subaru that's publicly outed as being on the yellow lines and blocking a driveway. But I'll take inspiration from Mahi and I'll press on. Thank you. Yes, I'd like to acknowledge actually the judges, the judging panel. I got fleetingly involved at the nomination stage and that was incredibly tough. So I could only imagine how hard it was coming up with the winners from all these categories. It's a fantastic effort by them. And that's enough from me. We should now probably find out who, among all those winners, and all of us here want to know who the supreme winner is. And it is the Wairarapa Times-Age Supreme Award winner, Dane Lett.
Well, that last award's probably a hard one to follow and a hard person to follow. Maybe that one should have been the last one, I think. I think what it highlights is just how special this community is. I've really enjoyed being part of the night. I've missed a few with being overseas and tours that have clashed, but yeah, I'm really proud to be part of this community. I really value being back here and trying to contribute in the small way that I do by playing hockey. But like I said before, there's a lot of people in the room that are doing a whole lot more than me, so I take my hat off to them, and thanks for everyone who supported the night. Cheers.
Oh, Coggy, that's it?
I think so. We've got a few people to thank, though.
Yeah, we do.
We've got an amazing event committee who put tonight together. Takes a lot of work, doesn't it, Andrea? Hell of a lot of work, doesn't it? So I'd like to thank Andrea Hay, Anne-Marie Nicolaisen, Bevan Wells. It's got my name down there, I don't know why. But,
Chris Cogdale.
Yeah, Di Oakley, Donna Candy, Jill Carline, Karen Blade, the old girl, Lauren Wilson and Sandy Mitchell. So thanks to them. Thanks for our event photographer, Pete Nicolaisen. Thanks to everyone else who's helped put tonight together. Thanks to Toby for the live streaming and the great graphics and everything like that. Thanks to Mahi for making the trip down here and entertaining. Very good night. Enjoyed your company, BG. I don't say that very often.
No, you don't.
But enjoyed it.
Coggy, really enjoyed the achievements listed tonight from all of our sports people, from our sports volunteers. Like I said earlier, it's Volunteers Celebration Week this week. To our officials, to our athletes, to our long-suffering parents, whether it be through tiredness of driving everywhere or a slightly drained bank account, what you're doing makes a massive difference, not only to the individual, but certainly to the community as well. So thank you. And of course, to all of these people who put their hands in their pockets year in, year out and sponsor this fantastic event, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Good luck for the rest of the sporting season. Thank you.